the road to hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
The super producers.
I need a smoke, where the matches. I'm a king, fuck your status. Getting dough, I pay no taxes. I'm a star in all fashions of the word, bro. I'ma flip the bird, bro. Coming through in foreigns and all you hear is skirt, huh? All polo and some white shoes. Funny thing now is I'm a nice dude, but when you cross that line, it ain't the right move. But my tender bitch is what I like knows. Oh yeah, can you feel that? I'm giving y'all that real rap. I'ma get the money, make the deal fat. Making hits with a steel bat. The Audi Quattro or that Monte Carlo. Which whip will I whip tomorrow? Got 6 chicks down to sip the bottle. Go coast to coast, let me ship the cargo. I don't really know if these people keep it real. I'm just telling all you fuckers how the homie really feel. And I'm looking up to God, can you tell me what's the deal? I'm just waiting for your answer at the altar where I kneel. I need a smoke, where the matches. I'm a king, fuck your status. Getting dough, I pay no taxes. I'm a star in all fashions of the word, bro. I'ma flip the bird, bro. Coming through in foreigns and all you hear is skirt, huh? Let me get the money, I see you bitches acting funny, ha. Can't take nothing from me, nah. Rapping blunts like mummies, yeah. We freed the homie when he caught a bid. I roll around, you can't stop the kid. Truth be told, I'm hot as shit. Just say what up when you spot a kid. Real talk, I'm trying to speak the truth. I stay loyal, bro, to my roots. Since 15, I've been in the booth. That's 16, I was on the move. Used to ride in that old Chevy. Now we out here show ready. I can see the bull, you're so petty. You can have your shine, my glow heavy. I need a smoke, where the matches. I'm a king, fuck your status. Getting dough, I pay no taxes. I'm a star in all fashions of the word, bro. I'ma flip the bird, bro. Coming through in foreigns and all you hear is skirt, huh?
We aren't better because we want to be. Because the road to hell is paved with good intentions. All the do-gooders in the world, whether they're doing good for others or doing it for themselves, are troublemakers. We white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, British, German, American, have been on a rampage for the past 100 or more years to improve the world. We have given the benefits of our culture, our religion, our technology to everybody. And we have insisted that they receive the benefits of our culture, even our political style, our democracy. You had better be Democrat, or we'll shoot you. And having conferred these blessings all over the place, we wonder why everybody hates us. Because sometimes doing good to others, and even doing good to oneself, is amazingly destructive. Because it's full of conceit. How do you know what's good for other people? We can change society. We can get enormous enthusiasm going out of the idea that there is a revolution afoot, and that this revolution is going to set everything to right. Do you know a revolution that ever set anything to right? Whether the revolution came from the left wing or from the right wing. When we have a great system, great power to put it into effect, there is always more violence, more bloodshed, more trouble. Diabolical things are done in the name of righteousness. We don't change. We're doing the same thing today, but under different names. We can look back at those people and see how evil that was, but we can't see it in ourselves. So therefore, beware of virtue. We aren't better because we want to be. Because the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Because all the do-gooders in the world, whether they're doing good for others or doing it for themselves, are troublemakers. Lao Tzu, the Chinese philosopher, said, the highest virtue is not virtue, and therefore really is virtue. But inferior virtue cannot let go of being virtue, and therefore is not virtue. All all the do-gooders in the world, whether they're doing good for others or doing it for themselves, are troublemakers. We aren't better because we want to be.
You said some things you didn't mean. I'm sure I did that too. Oh, baby. Egos clashing, dreams crashing. Whatever happened to me and you? From lovers to strangers, when everything changes. Oh, baby. When we tear out the pages and only one word is left. Please let just be quiet until the next riot. Just give us some time for the wounds to heal. What is broken is broken. Let's just leave it for now. We need some perspective just to understand how. What is broken for now. What is broken for now. I think we both need to grow so that we need not to know. Maybe doubt, maybe ask, maybe understand at last. From knowing to asking, from tearing to building, from thinking to feeling, from hurting to healing. Please let's just be quiet and let the silence speak. Oh, baby. Just give us some time for the wounds to heal. What is broken is broken. Let's just leave it for now. We need some perspective just to understand how. What is broken for now. But maybe tomorrow we will know how. Yes, maybe tomorrow we will know how. Oh, maybe tomorrow we will know how. It was beautiful, yeah, together. Even though we planned forever. Days of dreams, nights of talks. It was only us together. The world was ours, nothing out of reach. Imagine where we could be. Our dreams is one, hope brighter than the sun. What could ever stop us? Then it all turned, I don't know why. Still to this day, I'm wondering why. Will we ever know? Will we ever get to understand what we both went through? Anyway, I'm thankful for the times I had with you. I just want to thank you your smile wouldn't let me take down on myself, look down on myself. You told me I could, that I should, I would spread my wings and head for the sky. Then it all turned, I don't know why. Still to this day, I'm wondering why. Will we ever know? Will we ever get to understand what we both went through? Anyway, I'm thankful for the times I had with you. I just want to thank you for loving you. Your love made me love myself more. And I could never thank you, never thank you enough.
Do not come. Do not come.
Okay, this is the most disappointing video I've ever seen. She literally attacked the two things that I like. I'm a coomer.
Dojo, not again.
I'm trying to make my mama proud, that's for sure. Landed in the city, but my heart is on the coast. I don't wanna look back what my life was like before. I just took a red eye, penthouse, top floor. In the stew, I got a spazzo. Back up in my bag, get the rackets and I cash out. I've been running laps, I don't got time to relax now. I just took a chance, wasn't looking for no handouts. Oh, they like proud of how we do this. I've been with my brothers in the hills, we going stupid. I can't stop, I've been different, always knew this. Trying to turn them Bordens into Benjis, needing blue strips. Oh,
walking on the floor, this shirt, no one protects me. Wanna show Shawty my heart, she wanna text me. All this love I felt was a curse, I wanna HD. Going crazy, all of my nerves, who does to check me? All this fun, baby, why you gotta leave me on? Had to drop a bag on her when she gone. But I'm running with my click, yeah, they got me till I fall. Playing it for bags, worth more than your love. Yeah, yeah. Feel my moment, yeah, yeah. I'm the chosen, yeah, yeah. I'm the one inside.
in the stew, I got a spazzo. Back up in my bag, get the rackets and I cash out. I've been running laps, I don't got time to relax now. I just took a chance, wasn't looking for no handouts. Oh, they like proud of how we do this. I've been with my brothers in the hills, we going stupid. I can't stop, I've been different, always knew this. Trying to turn them Bordens into Benjis, needing blue strips. Oh,
Honey got me wasted. You done cut the yola, I can taste it. Biting on my swag, like you niggas pussy tryna trace it. I don't need your love, I took a perk and I replaced it. I'ma keep on going till my mama said I made it. Black and yellow, white, I got thotties, different races. Did my dirt, I had a mask, I'm moving faceless. I got 12 plotting on me, but no cases. Running from my demons, lacing on my A6. I don't do that fake shit, nah. The way they treat me, they act like I'm feeling them. So I got a script, I was just trying to feel something. Now I'm alone, you don't care, and
in
I
the
feel
stew, I got a
numb.
spazzo. Back up in my bag, get the rackets and I cash out. I've been running laps, I don't got time to relax now. I just took a chance, wasn't looking for no handouts. Oh, they like proud of how we do this. I've been with my brothers in the hills, we going stupid. I can't stop, I've been different, always knew this. Trying to turn them Bordens into Benjis, needing blue strips. Oh.
She says that she loves me, she just wants to fuck me. Got me feeling something, got me feeling nothing. Alcoholic junkie, says she thinks I'm funny. Think I might get lucky, spending too much money. She says she wants my necklace, put her on the guest list. Hope I don't regret this, hope I don't regret this. I'm feeling hella reckless, cashing all my checks rich. Hickeys on my neck, shit, she's on the offensive. I do not know my set list, still I'm gonna get lit. Yeah, I have a death wish, live until I'm breathless. I'ma stay progressive, she gon' stay obsessive. Life is so expensive, do everything excessive. I think my brain's defective, yeah. Aggressive, yeah. She snuck into my section, yeah. You think I'd learn my lesson, yeah. And we ain't getting no sleep. These girls don't even know me. Like Drake, I'm getting trophies. You want it, girl, then show me, yeah. And we ain't getting no sleep. These girls don't even know me. Like Drake, I'm getting trophies. You want it, girl, then show me. Cause we ain't getting no sleep, yeah. No, we ain't getting no sleep, yeah. She's sitting up in the front of the class, using that ass, she gonna pass. Keeping her pad and her pen in her lap. She been so bad with the men in her past. Now she just want the professor so bad. I'll give her lessons that she never had, like taking a freshman and teaching her math. I'll keep her guessing until she a grad. She always leaves them guessing, they don't know what's next, man. Learned it from the best, man. She loving every lesson, with hands-on sessions, points for attendance. She asks a lot of questions, I answer with my presence. I sit back while I'm texting, said she wants to get in, said she'll bring her best friend. Know what happened next, man. You know what happened next, man. Treat her like a guest, man. Rolling out the best, man. She had a confession, yeah. She wanna stay for a minute, she wanna play for a minute, she wanna slay for a minute, and now I'm all up in it. I'll be back in a minute, I'll be back in a minute, make a track in a minute, and now I'm all up in it. No sleep. These girls don't even know me. Like Drake, I'm getting trophies. You want it, girl, then show me, yeah. And we ain't getting no sleep. These girls don't even know me. Like Drake, I'm getting trophies. You want it, girl, then show me. Cause we ain't getting no sleep, yeah. No, we ain't getting no sleep, yeah.
Don't like me, well I'm on the road, I speed, chase, that's what I love, can't see what I can't control, did it once, yeah, do it once again, watch my father, yeah, he taught me how to win, cop new product, money taught me how to spin, waves like water, music taught me how to swim, I'ma fill my bottle way up to the brim, back then, yeah, I never talked at all, ashes, yeah, let them bitches fall. I've been way better than before. Posted with my cash that it's all. Hey yo, watch this. Got a foreign ghost with searching for my necklace. Got $100,000 on my checklist. All the money you made, that's my work sweat. You ain't learning. I be a person. I be making money fast. They be so determined. I be working every day. Yeah, I'm up on my circuit. Got me another diamond chain, made it from the surface. I been hurting. Would you live with me? Straight till the end. Baby, don't leave my back. I'm too spent. This is what I got, yeah, it's how it been. But that's okay, cause I'm making ends. Don't like me, well, I'm on the road. High speed, chase, that's what I love. Can't see what I can't control. Did it once, yeah, do it once again. Watch my father, yeah, he taught me how to win. Cop new product, money taught me how to spin. Waves like water, music taught me how to swim. I'ma fill my bottle way up to the brim.
Hi. Oh, wait. Hi, hello. Try that again. What's up? How's it going, internet? I hope everyone is doing well out there. Doing good and well. Made it, boys. We fucking did it. 30 whole days straight. I feel like I'm going to be studied by psychologists in the future. They're gonna look up my VODs and be like, this was an insane culture. Why do? My brain is complete fucking mush, dude. I'm like, developed ADHD over the past month, I guess? I feel like I need to be evaluated. Just generally. So much stress, so much, trying to focus on multiple things at a time. Now a day off and then back at it, right? Yeah, I was thinking I would take like 4 days off so I can catch up on like editing and, just like get back to a normal sleep schedule so I can actually stream it like 4 or 5-ish. There's like so many clips. I'm like haven't finished editing the Tim Pool clips. I'm in the middle of the Tim Pool Emma Vigilant clips. And I still want to edit that exposing Mr. Beast thing. A compilation. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, like I want to do like the beginning and end of each stream, right? As like a retrospective. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So it's not as hard on you. And also so I can sleep and see the sun. Still. I don't know. I feel bad because, like, now I have, like, a late night audience, and I'm afraid they'll miss me. I guess I'll probably still be on pretty, like, till midnight or something, but... I don't know. And grass touching. Yeah. Gotta touch the grass. I was thinking, like, I've barely been outside this month, like... I should be tan, and I'm just very much not. And I didn't, like, get acclimated to summer, so it's just hot now, and I don't know what to do about it. I, like, can't be outside for more than 5 minutes. I'm, like, full fucking vampire mode, dude. Not good. Probably not good. I had a whole day today of regular, sane, nice, or at least neutral comments. Is a Mercury out of Gatorade or something? I don't know. I don't know, but it was surprisingly nice. The worst comment I got today was just asking, like, I'll reserve judgment until I see the full context. Where can I find your VOD? Which is just so... That's delightful. Delightful. And also, like, what is that comment? Like, I get so many like those where it's like, not enough context. I don't know what's going on. Like, why are you watching shorts then? I don't... Shorts is not where you go to get context. You should know that. Am I wrong? Follow me for more. Smiley face, I guess, is what I should have said. Connect from comments? Or shit the majority of the time. Yeah. The headband into... Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought it was kind of obvious, like, I hit my head on the desk, but, I could re-edit that, for sure. Add, like, a bonk noise or something. Why were you going down like that? Oh, because I don't want to sneeze on my screen. I want to keep it clean. And I also don't want to sneeze on camera because it's not cute. I've seen it and it's not cute. It was a sneeze. Yeah. No, it says in the beginning. I put text in the beginning that says, like, I was trying to sneeze off camera and this happened. At least I thought it did. I don't know at this point. My memory is shot to hell. I only slept like 4 hours. Too much shit to do. All the shit piled up all at once. It's annoying as fuck. Ugh, life is so hard. I really don't know how people do this. Like, Hassan is genuinely unwell. Like, I guess he has editors and that helps a lot, but the man literally reads, like, most of chat. Unreal. Reads most of chat and then finds the worst possible one out of thousands of chats. Oh god. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be like that. No? Oh. Today was a bad day for views, so that's why I didn't want to do that, because it's very bad and depressing and I don't like it and I wish it would stop. I don't know if y'all heard about what's happening. The same day, Supreme Court handed it down to the peasants to two decisions. Both bad and not good. So they basically, like, banned affirmative action. Said it's unconstitutional. Meanwhile, doing nothing about legacy students. Nothing whatsoever. So that's cool. And then, yeah. The fucking debt. Dude, I'm so fucking mad, dude. I would have been able to pay off my debt. Like, I literally would have been able to. But, like, now I'm, like, not so sure. Like, it's gonna take me, like, most of my life. If not all of it. Like... Tortoise hat trick, yeah. It's some real bullshit. And, like, Biden could overrule it. He could still do it. But he won't, because he's a fucking pussy. A bitch-ass pussy, motherfucker, centrist ass, Fucking Jim Crow ass Joe motherfucker. I hate him so fucking much. Shit. Oh. God, I'm about to fucking vote Green Party, and like, I don't I don't even know who, but like, not him. Oh, he's the fucking worst. A revised plan. I haven't looked into it yet. It's kind of bullshit. Let me see. I saw something that he posted on over this real quick. Twitter capture. Capture the Twitter. Right. In the wake of today's Supreme loan relief, we need a new way forward. We're moving as fast as we can. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that's a fucking cap. I don't believe you. Move faster, bitch. Dance, bitch. Here's what's next. First, I'm announcing a new path to provide student debt relief to as many borrowers as possible. As quickly as possible, grounded in the Higher Education Act. Moments ago, Secretary Miguel Cardona took the first official step to create this approach. We aren't wasting any time. Cap. Fucking cap. Second, we're creating a temporary 12-month on-ramp to repayment. We're just gonna do it slowly, like you're a fucking crab in boiling water. Cool. Not the same as this loan pause, but during this period, if you miss payments, the on-ramp will temporarily remove the threat of default or having your credit harmed. Fight isn't over. So, that's great. We're doing great. A+ America, #1 country, by the way. Freest country, by the way. Oh, yeah, there's also the gay thing. You can just discriminate against whoever you want in your business. You can refuse service for being LGBTQ. So that's not good, and it's very bad. Yeah, Biden is not winning again, unless he turns it around real fucking quick. Unless he does some, like, real fucking radical shit, some shit that, like, would risk him getting assassinated by the CIA, he's not getting reelected. It's not happening. It's not, like, it's not even his fault, though. Like, it's Trump's fucking judges. I mean, Biden also sucks. But he did try. A little. You know? Can't even speak properly. Lagan is mental. If anyone votes for him, it's out of pity at this point. I mean, pity or just fear of the worst of two evils. There's lots of libs that are still like blue no matter who. I'm not on that. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I hope that's not the situation that we're put in. Hopefully anything else happens. He's a corpse, but like he did try to forgive dead. I mean, at the very fucking least, he tried to do that. On every other thing, though, yes. Fuck him. He did, like, more on the border than Trump did. Which, like, Republicans don't even realize. Oh god, then there's the whole France protests thing. And TwitchCon is happening in Paris? I don't know how that's gonna go. Tearing down the container wall and sell them cheap. Fun. Might buy a few. Might as well. Might as fucking well. They're kind of handy. You can do a lot of shit in those. We used to trim weed in them. Because it's like a fast, easy way to make a little building, I guess. I don't know. There's like need to do soundproofing and fucking whatever. I don't know. Extra storage, what have you. They're sturdy as fuck. I could never fucking open them. I always needed help. But right, so I've got a few gay things. Gay time. Oh god, there's a spider. Think so. Not today. Thank you for the follow. Don't kill it, they eat bugs. Okay. It was a tiny one though, and it was trying to make a home on my mic. I'm sorry. There's plenty of spiders around. Trust me, there's so many around. Hi, Ultra, welcome in. PPP. Are you a PPP loan receiver? Because we don't take too kindly to those around these parts. What else? So yeah, I've got a Jessie Gender, James Somerton, and a Khadijah Ambo. 3 of my favorite queer content creators. And they're all talking about queer issues. Jessie's talking about trans protests, and how they are good at fighting fascists. I love that. James Somerton's talking about the straight to fascist pipeline. The straights are not all right. And we'll end with Khadijah talking about, would you date a bisexual man? Unpacking the download paradox. Shall we?
This past week, the trans community and our allies, and more importantly, our accomplices, demonstrated what true strength is. They showed the power in solidarity, in caring. They showed a willingness to fight back and put your skin in the game. And most importantly to me, they showed a love for each other that will always, always outshine hate. And in doing so, it gave us, and it gave me, something that many of us were in sore need of renewal. Hope. A hope for the future, and a hope in each other. As I discussed in further detail in this video that I released last week, anti-transgender, gender-critical TERF Kelly J. Keane Minchell, otherwise known by her internet alias Posey Parker, not Parker Posey, held an
Boo.
anti-trans rally in Melbourne, Australia on March 18th, 2023. And by the way, I just wish to say this up front, sorry to all of my Australia viewers for screwing up my Australian geography in the last video. I deeply apologize for that. I probably also still mispronounced Melbourne here, but I'm trying my best. I can barely pronounce my own name correctly, alright? Feel free to laugh at me, not with me, on that one. But more importantly, moving on, at Kelly Jean Minshall's so-called Let Women Speak rally, which notably does not let many women speak, such as trans women or women who actually practice actual feminism that is by its nature trans-inclusive, a group of neo-Nazis came in support of her rally, laying naked what was already clear to many who have been paying attention to many gender-critical TERF talking points. That anti-trans bigotry, especially that espoused by those cloaking themselves in the aesthetic of women's rights issues without actually fighting for women's rights issues, as Keen Minshall does,
Fucking Nazis. Each and every one of them. Actual Nazis. And she's right for saying it. It's very, very closely affiliated. Despite what you might read on Twitter, the Nazis are, and always have been, illicitly anti-queer.
Dovetails and is actually in conjunction with larger fascist and authoritarian movements. As I spoke about in the earlier video, this fascistic rhetoric that is displayed by the neo-Nazis was not new. Yet, these neo-Nazis showing up at this rally were most notable by how blatant their hate-filled rhetoric and symbology was, shouting Hail Hitler and having a banner that said Kill Pedo Freaks as they did the Nazi salute. It was a stark display of, again, how anti-trans hate and fascism often come together. This reality made bare, however, was not taken just as a shock, but a moment of realization by many. That the need to stand up against fascism on the front of anti-trans bigotry was greater than ever. And oh boy, did people show up. A few days later, on March 21st, Keen Minshall held another rally in Hobart, Tasmania in Australia, where she was met by numerous counter-protesters that again outnumbered her own people at her event, including notably this one counter-protester who pushed back
Get absolutely fucked.
against Keen Minshall's hate, and ultimately allowed Keen Minshall a moment to reveal herself.
They will use any means necessary, any language necessary, any smears to stop us being able to speak.
Why do you stand with Nazis though?
Why don't you go away? Who did? Who did? No, no, no. I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist. Right, this
Not a feminist! I'm a Nazi!
girl here.
Go and sit down there. Go and sit down there.
Go away.
Stand with Nazis. Where are the Nazis?
When faced with a woman, notably a woman, who did not wholeheartedly agree with Keen Minshall's anti-trans hate in her little bubble, Keen Minshall revealed quite starkly that her whole facade that she's just a person standing up for women's rights in the face of gender ideology coming for our women and children came crumbling down. And she announced that she is by no means a feminist.
I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist.
Again, not surprising in the
And she's right. She's not.
least to anyone who's been paying attention to her actual words, but
And that's why we shouldn't call everybody a fucking TERF. She has no feminist rhetoric. Not a single point of feminism.
before this, or the words of the gender critical movement, but it was telling that she no longer cared to even put on the mask when confronted with people who were calling her out on her hate. People who would stand up for real feminism and trans inclusivity. It shows how often much of anti-trans hate and rhetoric and bigotry just in general falls in the face of actual voices of real people who aren't just parroting back their nonsense back at them, but actually standing up with those around them. But that wasn't the best moment, not even by a long shot. Because when Keen Minshall attempted to continue her rallies in Auckland, New Zealand, more than
I know what's coming. I'm so excited.
1,000 people, more than 1,000 people, showed up in opposition to Keen Minshall and the type of hate that she espouses. Counter-protesters came to the location, flooding it and overrunning the gazebo where Parker had been expected to make her speech. The counter-protesters again vastly outnumbered Keen Minshall's numbers, and many of them shouted, "Go home, Posey, go home."
Fucking go. Yeah, like the majority of people are cool. They don't care, you know? Uh, it's a very loud vocal minority.
Home. Water, paint, and eggs were flung at Keen Minchell and her supporters, and Keen Minchell herself even had tomato juice thrown on her.
So good. So good. I think this happened another time. Am I wrong? I think it happened more than once. I remember it happening like where it was like all on her face. I don't know. I might be misremembering. Hi, Mr. D. Welcome welcome in. Thank you. It's just a top, but thank you.
And the protester who threw the juice on Keen Minchell stated that the juice was meant to symbolize the harm, the real harm, not just tomato juice to the face, the real harm and blood that Parker has caused to the trans community. And this protester said, quote,
I am so proud I dropped the juice, and I would do it again and again. If I have to go to prison for 1 year, I am more than happy.
And by the way, that is a perfectly
too fucking base. And I love them for that.
A great response in the face of fascism and hate. Being willing to show up and fight no matter the consequences because hate needs to be fought back against. And eventually, Keen Minchell had to be escorted out of the protest.
It was just fucking tomato juice too. Like, you know, like I don't know if that rises to the level of like assault or something. I don't know. Fucking stupid if it does. Especially like given the context.
By police, and her future rally in Wellington, New Zealand was also cancelled, causing her to leave New Zealand altogether.
Do you think it'd be worse in Wellington?
Rebozo.
Yeah. Maybe it's time to
I think so.
say that we
can't
can't
have this.
do
I can't
it.
protect you
No. Okay.
against hundreds
They won't miss you. Bye.
and thousands of people.
No. Okay.
Bye, bitch.
And the police were correct. Wellington was much worse for Minchell because while she did not show up, her event that was once going to be a display of hate has turned into a party and celebration for trans people and our accomplices, showing how queers and our allies know how to start a riot, beat fascists, and then turn it into a party, which is all the absolute best response to fascism. Kick it in the ass and then celebrate and delight in each other and our differences and the joy of our humanity. And all I can say to all of that is, hell yeah. I cannot tell you what this series of events has meant to me to see and watch. As many of you know, if you've been following my channel for any length of time, these past few years have seen growing anti-trans hate movements and rhetoric continue to escalate more and more, almost daily. My fellow trans folks and I have had to watch as the hate against our community is continually stoked by those in power trying to use the scapegoat of our deeply misunderstood, disinformed about, and marginalized community to hold on to their power. Using anti-trans bigotry as a political calculus to push for growing authoritarian and fascism in countries worldwide. I've had to watch as men on some of the biggest stages in my country and others call for the literal genocide of people like me. And while I and so many others who have worked even harder than me have worked to be defiant and push back against these hates, it's been very scary. And I say that as a relatively privileged trans person in the grand scheme of things. I live in a relatively safe area, I'm fairly well off, I'm able to pay my bills, and I feel generally secure in this state, even though the United States itself is a very scary place for trans people and seems like it's only one election away from much darker things. I feel that fear and terror.
That's the thing, is like, there are safer states like California and New York, and that's cool that those states are like a safe haven for people, but no state is 100% Democrat. There are still rural areas where there's lots of Republicans, and it's not exactly safe for trans people to exist there. So it's like not so black and white, you know? It's generally unsafe to be openly queer. Like, it just is. Literally anything could happen at any point, and like there's a lower chance of a hate crime in a blue state, but it's not zero. It's never zero.
And it is much harder still for my trans siblings who are not out yet, who may be younger than I am, who don't have full autonomy over their ability to do things or stand up for themselves, who may be living in areas that are less safe for them than me, or who maybe sit at an intersection of even more misunderstood identities as well as their transgender one. Be it a racial identity, a religious identity, a class identity, or many of those combined. It's been deeply scary, and while all of us have showed immense strength, especially those who I look up to, many of whom are younger than me, who are showing so much more strength and power by themselves, it has been really scary and hard to watch all of this. So to see a crowd of people, a sea of trans people and our accomplices, and I mean accomplices because those people put their skin in the game, showing up to display not just their desire to stop Minchell's hate campaign, but to show much needed support to the trans community in the face of the larger growing anti-trans sentiment that has been building around the world as a way to push for increasing authoritarian movements, it meant the world. To show that we will not let fascists and Nazis and authoritarians speak unchallenged, and that trans people are not hated, but loved and cherished, no matter how much those in power try to paint it otherwise. That means a lot. And most importantly,
I can't say what I want to say. No one said that I couldn't sing what I want to say. I had to. Oh, God. Oh, that's gonna be a good meme. It's a good meme already. I'm a bad ally. Uh-oh.
Respect to the trans community. And fuck you, trans fools.
Trans people are my friends. Transphobes come catch these hands. Trans people are my friends. So respect them for we're going in. Trans people are my friends. Transphobes come catch these hands. Trans people are my friends. So respect them for we're going in. Transphobes, show your fucking out. I'll knock you out. I'll knock you out. Transphobes, show your fucking out. I'll knock you out. You better watch out. Trans people are my friends. Transphobes, come catch these hands. Trans people are my friends. So respect them for we're going in. Trans people are my friends. Transphobes, come catch these hands. Trans people are my friends. So respect them for we're going in. Trans people are my friends. Everyone.
Trans people, catch these hands.
Trans people are my friends.
The Bop. A classic.
It showed that true power comes from community and solidarity, and that when we have that, we can accomplish anything. To my trans siblings, especially to trans kids out there, see this moment and know that you are not alone. You are part of a community that loves you, cherishes you.
Oh my God, I just can't stop looking at how good her lighting is. I'm obsessed. What is this? This pillar of light. Delightful. How is it all so perfect? I couldn't even manage to do this when I had like my big ring light, and I just have to respect it. Oh yeah, Jesse, did you see that short about how like the collar getting messed up wasn't a mistake? Like Facebook? Or else.
And will
Twitter?
stand up for you. And I want to repeat that this is what true power looks like.
I'll send it to you.
Because in the days since the Auckland rally, I've seen those pretending that they have control, those who side with Keen Minshall and the anti-trans bigotry, begin to panic and double down. On a personal level, I've had my comment section on my other videos and many others flooded with anti-trans discrimination, more so than usual, which is saying something considering I get a decent amount of it daily, as well as conspiracy theories that are meant to downplay the fascist rhetoric or allow those who have fallen into anti-fascist and anti-trans rhetoric to try to resolve their cognitive dissonance so that they don't feel like they're bad people, but that, oh, it was just the neo-Nazis who infiltrated our groups, without actually doing introspection to realize what their rhetorics are actually supporting. As well as more comments attempting to frame things as just the fighting for women's rights, ignoring that these gender-critical TERFs are just a movement by those in power trying to divide the fight for actual women's rights. Women who include both trans and cis people who fight back.
Yeah, it's like the same with the LGBT type folk. Like, you aren't, you're not doing queer activism if you're not including trans people. Like, fuck all the way off.
Against control over our bodies and our lives. And by the way, these comments that I see continually cropping up often dovetail with other hates, like this comment, showcasing how anti-trans hate is just one front in numerous bigotries that uphold fascism. But even beyond my comment section, which has clearly probably become the target of some anti-trans message board somewhere, you've also seen folks
I guess. I mean, some trans people won't identify as queer, and that's like fine and valid or whatever. But queer is a blanket term for all of the LGBTQIA plus community. It's vague on purpose to be inclusive. At least like in the way that it's been reclaimed. I know it didn't always mean that, but that's like kind of how it goes now. There's also like some people identify specifically as genderqueer, which is like non-binary or just like gender non-conforming. Yeah.
Folks like J.K. Rowling continue to get more and more blatant in her anti-trans hate. Now quite actively using anti-trans slurs like Tim in her tweets to dehumanize and delegitimize the trans community and trans women's humanity specifically. As well as using her platform to prop up other anti-transgender lies, such as the false rhetoric that trans women are somehow more prone to male violence, which itself is from a misinformed study that uses
one is a gender, one is a sexuality. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. But I don't know. Queer is just like gotten to be very broad. You know? Is this a recent tweet? I think so. I don't know. She tweets stuff like this all the time, so it's hard to say.
Sex workers as evidence of criminality of trans people, so quite often showcasing the gender critical movement's hatred for sex workers.
Oh, no idea that queer was reclaimed in that way. Yeah. It's kind of like the F word, or I don't know, butch. You know? I think there's a lot of power in like reclaiming slurs like that. Like, I don't know. I like the word queer. I think that's like the most accurate for me. I just like, I don't know. I think there's just like a larger sense of community when you like blanket it like that.
As well as how often anti-trans bigotry upholds this idea of the big, strong, authoritarian man needing to come protect the weak, frail woman who needs protection from the dangerous minorities.
While also directly showing support for Kelly J. Keane Minchell, who, as we've discussed, is directly supported herself by fascists.
But I thought not as a slur, it just meant gay. Kind of like the R word is a slur for a medical term, so I had the slur meaning, but actual meaning also. Yeah, I guess it probably varies, like region to region. As far as I know, it's just kind of like the vaguest term, which I think a lot of people like. English is the best, but also the worst. Yeah. Whatever we decide at a given moment at a time. I mean, that's kind of how linguistics works, though, you know? Meanings change over time. I think it's kind of cool, like, how fast language is evolving online. Like, there's, like, a whole new fucking dictionary every single year just of, like, internet slang. And, like, I think that's kind of cool. It's, like, speeding up the linguistic evolution process. And maybe we'll, like, actually get to, like, a universal language because, like, I mean, first, a lot of it's going back to, like, emojis. You know? So, like, we're already halfway there. Like, I can read a tweet in Korean and know the vibe just on the emojis and context. Like, but yeah, there's like a homogenization where, like, whereas before it took your mom to learn LOL, it took her like 10 years to learn what that meant. She's like learning it like at closer to the pace that we're learning it, right? Like it's speeding up. And I think it could be good. It could mean good things for communication. The French don't allow that, true. Yeah, we'll probably all be speaking French. Any day now. I do like French. It sounds nice. Word effects though, like yeah. There can be like a lot of like loss of culture and you know, like erasure, etc. But I do think a universal language would be cool. That's all I'm saying.
Fascist.
Or we can also look at how other rhetoric has escalated elsewhere in the face of this show of solidarity by many with the trans community. And all I can say to all of that is, while it is deeply harmful, hateful, and bigoted,
that was actually relevant to what we were talking about. We're not too far off track. It's okay. Queer was never joyous. It wasn't meant to be joyous when my fellow gay men were being beaten to death by homophobes screaming the word at them. And it isn't joyous now when it's being used by men who beat up women and the corporations that support them. So this is just transphobia. Like, this is through and through fucking transphobia. Like, previously, true, it was not joyous. There's a lot of, like, elder queers who are not fine with that term. That's true. But, like, using your trauma to, like, disavow someone else's, like, reclaiming of the term is just, like, it's just transphobia. Because it's meant to be an inclusion of trans people in in the community. Same brand, same architecture, same clothes, now the same language, and now the same pop culture. I mean, yeah, but that's just capitalism. That's an entirely different subject. Uh, Rural chan with all white people. I never heard people calling people queer except like on the occasion. It was usually hetero friends making fun of each other. Fucking queer? What are you, fucking queer, bro? Mostly I heard the F slur for derogatory use. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think it was like in like a dip in usage during like when we were growing up. Um, it was mostly a slur for like I think like the 70s and 80s. Um, like during the AIDS crisis and stuff. Uh, but I feel like if you're fighting the reclamation of the slur, like you're sus. You're sus to me. Like I don't we don't need you. We don't need that. We need none of that.
Has escalated elsewhere in the face of this show of solidarity by many with the trans community. And all I can say to all of that is while it is deeply harmful, hateful, and bigoted, what I see when I really look deeply at it, when I see through the veneer, is people panicking. Because they either can't handle that they've fallen into actual hateful movements, or those who know exactly what they're doing and trying to double down even harder to try to make themselves appear strong. Because they know they actually aren't. Because true power doesn't panic. I look at this video of Keen Minshall being escorted out of the rally, and you can see the fear in her eyes. And I bet you many people, gender-critical TERFs especially, but many people generally probably look at that video and ignore the crowd of people around her and see her fear in her eyes. And I know some will say that we shouldn't relish causing a woman fear. This fear that Keen Minshall has here,
I mean, this does look like an actually dangerous situation just because like crowd crush is a real thing, right? This could go badly. If anybody fell, it would be very bad. But like I don't I don't feel bad for her. Really, I don't it's hard for me to feel bad for her.
shouldn't relish causing a woman fear. This fear that Keen Minshall has here is but a small sliver of the pain, the real pain, that she has helped to bolster and actively contributed to stoking against the trans community. She and others who use her same rhetorics and tactics and those who wield her movement to uphold their own authoritarianism have led to actual physical and political violence against the trans community. We are in the midst of a genocide attempt. Make no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And yet, while Keen Minshall, because she is ultimately working to uphold authoritarian rhetorics that centralize power in the state, gets to be escorted out, surrounded by police who are there to protect her, trans people every day have to face similar violence, in fact, even more escalating violence with no protection from authorities at all. Often violence is done.
Yeah, that's no fucking comparison. Literally no comparison. Trans people can be murdered because someone thought they were gay for being attracted to them. And it's fine. In like 27 states. It's fucked up. Like, yeah, I don't know. Don't come for me. Oh god. Isn't in itself a fascist tactic to drive someone away with fear, threats of violence? I guess it can be, but not always. Right? Like, if it's a defensive mechanism to stop your community from being murdered, then I think that's fine. That's fine by me. You know, in terms of harm reduction, it's that's the same as calling like anti-fascists fascists. It doesn't make any sense. If you're trying to stop violent transphobic rhetoric, then you should be able to use any means necessary, because violence has already been done to you. It's the paradox of tolerance. Pearl Popper. If everyone is tolerant of every idea, then intolerant ideas will emerge. Tolerant people will tolerate the intolerance, and tolerant people will not tolerate the intolerant people. Basically, like, you cannot tolerate intolerance, because that it's just a negative feedback loop where it's just all bad. Let me maybe find an philosophy vibe. It's a philosophy vibe. We're vibing with philosophy.
Do you believe a society should practice complete and universal tolerance? Yes, I do. Well, what do you make of the tolerance paradox? What's that? This was raised by Karl Popper. He argued that a true tolerant society would in fact end up tolerating the intolerant. Popper claimed that unlimited tolerance must lead to the disappearance of tolerance. If we extend unlimited tolerance even to those who are intolerant, if we are not prepared to defend a tolerant...
You yourself have become intolerant, therefore, by that logic, the most violent fascist will be the one that wins. No. No. The point of the paradox is that, like, intolerance bad. That's not the value of the story. Intolerance is fine if you're being intolerant of fascism, because fascism does harm. You should be intolerant of harm being done. You know?
society against the onslaught of the intolerant, then the tolerant will be destroyed and...
Intolerance is fascism. I don't think that's true. I think that's a very simplistic definition of fascism.
Tolerance with them. Yes, I see the problem. So then, does toleration in fact need intolerance to survive? Well, yes, I would agree. Even though this seems like a contradiction, it seems true toleration needs to be intolerant of the intolerant. Okay, good. So this leads me to the question. Where should we draw the line between what is tolerable and what is submissive and bordering on being taken advantage of? What do you mean?
Yeah, watch the video. I don't think I will. I don't think I will. Thanks, but no thanks. Yeah. I think the line is like, you don't have to be tolerant of someone like doing serial murder. Being intolerant of a serial murderer, that's not fascism. That's just like common sense. You know what I mean? Like, it's not intolerance is fascism. There's like There's like 24 points to fascism. Yeah. This is a very good read. A very dense but good read. A cult of traditionalism. So think, the Confederate flag. The traditional family unit. The nuclear family is the most importantly thing. Shit like that. Fascism. Traditionalism. The rejection of modernism. A refusal to modernize. Like holding on to coal and refusing green energy. Irrationalism. Also depends on the cult of action for action's sake. No syncretic faith can withstand analytical criticism. Just like a rejection of criticism generally. That's like a hatred of cancel culture these days. Disagreement is a sign of diversity. Your fascism grows up, seeks for a consensus. And by explaining and exacerbating the natural fear of difference. Yeah, I recommend everyone go through this because we're entering a fascist state. Talking about the tactics of fascism to suppress opposition, same tactics are being used on both sides. I don't think it's the same tactics. I don't think it is. I think many people who are true leftists are actually empathetic to people who may have fallen into the fascist pipeline and are willing to educate them if they're willing to learn. But most of the time they're not. And like, why would you waste your time arguing with someone who doesn't fucking want to hear a goddamn thing you have to say? It's literally not worth it. Like, I don't know, like, what kind of tolerance can you extend to someone who thinks you shouldn't exist? Who thinks that you should literally die tomorrow? Like, I don't have empathy for that person. If they think I should die because of who I love, like, they can die too. What do you want me to do? We're human too.
By those who are supposed to use their power to protect, but just use it for self-interest or a desire to inflict harm to showcase their supposed strength. And they stoke it not just there, but within communities, leading to actual murder and death of trans people believing these awful anti-trans disinformation tactics. Hell, even at this counter-protest, while Keen Minchell just simply got souped to the face and a bit scared as she got escorted out, at least 2 people from the pro-trans protesters were hit by members of Destiny Church who were there in support of Posey. One person who was hit as part of the pro-trans group was even Mara Davidson, who is a co-leader of New Zealand's Green Party. So Keen Minchell gets to walk away with just a little bit of tomato soup in her hair. There are actual trans people and our accomplices who put their bodies on the line. And many, like Keen Minchell, have relished in causing those women, and trans-supportive women, fear and much worse. Hell, we can even see quite literally Keen Minchell relishing in active physical violence being inflicted upon trans-supportive people in this tweet of hers where she celebrated a woman getting choked by Keen Minchell's own security team because the woman was trying to speak up for trans people at Minchell's Melbourne rally. So if anyone's relishing in fear and violence, it's not the trans-supportive counter-protesters.
It showcases why asking for respectability in the face of fascism and those calling for violence only ever serves the fascists. Because they have no compunctions about doing the same and yet demand it from us. Well, no, you're a fascist, you're calling for the death and harm of marginalized people. We don't take that lying down with respectability. We throw tomato juice in your face.
Yeah, and like, to be very clear, This is not fascism. Fascism is not when you kindly escort someone out of your gathering.
We don't take that lying down with respectability. We throw tomato juice in your face.
And I will also say this, that it is always ethical to make a fascist feel unsafe, unwelcome, and unwanted, because they are. And they should feel lucky if it just feels like tomato soup to the face. Well,
we're not punching enough Nazis, if you ask me, in Minecraft.
While I do feel satisfaction at Keen Minchell being scared away, I do not relish in it. I do not wish this is where we have to be. I hate that this is the time that I and many others have to live in where we have to fight these bigotries. But to paraphrase a famous writer, we do not get to choose our time, only what we do with it. So we do what needs to be done, and we fight hate and bigotry. But what I do relish in is the power that my community, not the trans community, but the community of humanity who cares for each other, showed this past week. We didn't show panic. We didn't show fear. We showed strength in each other and with each other and for each other. That, the joy of that, that is what I relish in. And what we should all relish in. And remember it. Because we're going to continue to need it. Because this isn't over. The solidarity that we showed each other this past week is not the end, but a needed beginning.
Dude, yeah, like, my fellow fucking content creators have been doing charities, like fundraisers to get trans people out of like really fucked up Republican states, and it is like kind of heartwarming to see that like everyone's really coming together. It's like a fucking an underground railroad of fucking safety net. It's fucked that like it had to be crowdsourced, but you know, we're gonna fucking figure it out, you know?
As I said, those who spread hate in hopes of holding onto power will double down on their violence and rhetoric. We already see rolling neo-Nazis and many others doing so, and I'm sure many more continually will, those with some of the biggest powers in some of the biggest countries, trying to use this moment to prop up the idea of the dangerous, villainous transes trying to hurt the poor, weak women who need to be protected by the strong man, who need you to vote for a strong, authoritarian figure to stop them. And that makes them still, if not more, dangerous. But that isn't true strength. True strength doesn't need authoritarians to defend it. We showed what true strength is. And we also need to understand that that strength needs to show up for other fights. The struggle for women's bodily autonomy with things like abortion rights, for example, fighting anti-Semitism, racial hate generally, anti-Muslim hate, and much, much more. Because these are all issues that are not separate but part of the same fight. We are here for each other. And we can win those fights because we've already shown each other that we can do that. That is the hope we need to hold on to from this moment and remember. Remember that love always wins, community always wins. We just need to be willing to show up and fight, not for the fight itself, but for something greater. Each other. Alrighty, interwebs, I just wanted to make a little follow-up video from last week's video because honestly, everything that came out of this week filled me with such hope in the future. It's been a scary time, as I said, but moments like this show me what I already always knew, but put it in stark display for me, that there is hope for the future, that we can build that better world, that Star Trekian future that I always hope for, of a world where we take delight in the differences of others and pursue the best parts of ourselves. Enable each other to pursue the best parts of ourselves. We can do that. We showed that this week. And let's continue showing that. Anyways, to do the YouTube rigmarole, I have a video coming out on Friday that is a fun video about Star Trek. It should be comedic, should be funny. You'll get to laugh at me, not with me.
Damn. This was from 3 months ago. Aware. Things have gotten so much worse.
It'll be a good time. And
I was wondering why she said like, "Oh, we can make a Star Trek universe. We can make that happen." I do not know. I do not know about that.
Also, it's up for patrons and those who subscribe on Nebula, so if you want to get it early, go subscribe and support me there, because supporting me on Patreon and Nebula does help me pay my bills. This is what I do for a living, so thank you if you can support me there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. I got other videos coming out on this channel, like some bigger ones on more difficult topics beyond Star Trek. But beyond all of that, I just hope you're all taking care of yourselves, and I wish you all to live long and prosper.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
Okay. I know this is gonna be heavy, so we're gonna take a little musical break. A musical intermission, shall we? New Star Trek show is out, it's good. Ooh. I need to watch like all of it. Does it have to be watched sequentially? Because I would have to watch like 3 years worth straight of content. Oh. Of punching fascists.
You guys, my dad literally just got punched
I'll be
in the
right back.
face for being a Trump supporter. Like, that was it. Just for being a Trump supporter. And I do it again. And I do it again. Do it again. Do it again. I do it again. Hold up. Do it. Do it again. Do it. Do it again. Hold up. Do it. Do it again. Do it. And I do it again. Guys, my dad literally just got punched in the face for being a Trump supporter. Like, that was it. And I do it again. Hold up. Do it. Do it again. Do it. Do it again. Hold up. Do it. Do it again. Do it. And I do it again. Hold up. And I do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Hold up. Do it. Do it again. Do it. And I do it again.
I'm Marquez. It's you, boy.
And I do it again.
Tonight, we come here to answer a very important question in everybody's mind. Why in the hell are we still doing this? I know there are questions about whether we should gather here tonight because of COVID. Well, they're fully vaccinated and boosted. Vaxxed and boosted. Vaxxed and boosted. How to do that? Just contact your favorite Fox News reporter. They're all here. Vaxxed and boosted. This is the first time the president attended this dinner in 6 years. It's understandable. We had a horrible plague, followed by 2 years of COVID. Just imagine if my predecessor came to this dinner this year. Now that would really have been a real coup if that occurred. I'm not really here to roast the GOP. A lot of people say the Republican Party is too extreme, too divisive, too controlled by one person. Ronald Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear this wall down. Today's Republicans say, tear down Mickey Mouse's house. The Republicans seem to support one fella, some guy named Brandon. He's having a really good year. I'm kind of happy for him. They're fully vaccinated and boosted. Vaxxed and boosted. Vaxxed and boosted. How to do that? Just contact your favorite Fox News reporter. They're all here. Vaxxed and boosted. Fox News, I'm really sorry. Well, why? Your preferred candidate lost the last election. To make it up to you, I'm happy to give my chief of staff to you all so we can tell Sean Hannity what to say every day. Trevor's great. When I was elected, he did a show and he called me America's new dad. Let me
Everywhere I go, they double take. Hold on, man. What'd you say? What'd you say?
So
it's
good.
fucking damn it, Woo! Everywhere I go, they double take. Hold on, man. What'd you?
The Ben Shapiro one? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, the hottest bitch up in my city, no debate about it. Go tell that Karen stop staring, take a picture. Matter of fact, this ain't shit, go hit my Insta. Matter of fact, I'm that bitch, so quit your bitching. Here's a fact, sit and listen. I am a light in the life for others, a sight for sore eyes, not to be trifled to fuck with. I am not ducking and covering, I am not tucking in public. I want you to know where my nuts is. I share an empty wallet, looks a lot where I keep my fucks in. Everywhere I go, they go, they double take. Hold on, man. What'd you say? Everywhere I go, they do a double take. Everywhere I go, they do a double take. Hold on, man. What'd you say? Hey, look, hey, now ain't no titties on my chest. If gender's what's between your pants. Now if you with it, grab a pistol, pop a bigot in his little dick. I'm about to pop up on the opposition. Where we at? Everywhere I go, they go, they double take. Hold on, man. What'd you say? Everywhere I go, they do a double take.
So good.
Hey, okay, catch it rolling down magazine. A little skirt, big dick with a purse full of weed. There's some weirdos with me, some queer hoes with me. And these hecklers just reflecting in the thoughts about themselves, they just some mirror hoes. Okay, I'm feeling like getting my feeling Eric, killing little bigots out Paris. As soon as I'm finished with killing Americans, I promise my mama that I'ma get closer to God. As soon as the comic go learn me to stop, as soon as the devil stop helping me out. As soon as he Baptist, stop calling me faggot. As soon as these assholes stop preaching the shit they don't practice. Even a heathen can see you an ass backwards advocate. Better back up before I smack this shit out of you. Bitch, you lucky I'm puffing, I'm weeding, I'm done with the Adderall. You lucky I don't even need to prove anything, so I be doing my thing and they be doing the double take. Double take. I just be walking and walking, and motherfuckers wanna run away. Bitch, I ain't making to give you the runaround. How about the runaway? Just one note. If you got something that you wanna say that shit right to my fucking face.
So fast.
But these bigots don't see our vision, so they need to be beaten to submission. My existence is not up for debate. So if you trans, grab a hammer, shoot them right in the face. It's damage. Bitch.
So fucking good. Oh my god. God, I love her. Okay. Play Queen. Which, was it WAP that you wanted, or is there a different one? I have another one. That's it. Gotta be that one.
Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. I said certified free. 7 days a week. Wet ass P word. Make that pull-out game weak. Yeah. Yeah, you effin' with some wet ass P word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass P word. Give me everything you've got for this wet ass P word. Beat it up, N word, catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this P word right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top, I wanna ride. I do a kegel while it's inside. Spit in my mouth, look in my eyes. This P word is wet, come take a dive. And continue along these lines. And it gets significantly more vulgar. Like, a lot more vulgar.
I had a dream. We did the
So good. It needs to be longer. God, I wish it was longer. Oh, it's like the XQC clip I'm trying to make. I tried to make another one, and it still isn't turning out how I wanted it to. I have to, like, go and strip his vocals and her song, like, her instrumentals. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. I feel like I just need, like, a little chill vibe. Little welcome cafe. I love this. Never. I wonder if there's actually any AI songs of Ben. There's gotta be. I haven't come across them though.
There's a question and an answer and a worry in the middle. There was a promise of forever and a wishful intention. What a world it would be if we all made out like the books we read, all the films we see. It's a travesty. As the moon drifts by with the shifting tides, and you're lost in life, so the love floats into the ether. And there was something that you heard in her, and despite your parents, you placed your bet on love.
Fuck, I love this song.
Even though it made you hurt, you always try to make it work, cause you believed in us. She said you're pretty, but you drink too much. You've got a head on your shoulders and it's good enough, but something broke you. I said I'm sorry, and it's well in advance, but I will hurt you more than anybody has. Yeah, it's a sure thing. Oh, is it a sure thing? She said, I know that you didn't know back then. You're getting all that you should know by now. It never was about the pain you held, not in the way that you shut me out, not in the way that you hate yourself, or all the ways that you let me know it was that you and I, we were on our way. Kind of feeling that was unexplained, and you still feel like you felt back then. It's what you tell me when nobody's listening, and you ain't happy where you're at right now. Talked about it for a couple hours, but a lot of change in the past few years. A couple deaths and a few relationships, a little older and a little scared of making all the same mistakes I made. She said you're weary because you think too much. You've got a mind of your own, it's free enough, but it'll drain you. I know you're sorry, and it's right on time, cause you told me what would happen if I stuck around. I know you warned me. There's something that you're asking that was never in question. Something that you're asking that was never in question.
Honestly, one of my favorite songs of all time. Really beautiful. Okay, no more fun.
Cabaret is a film that serves as a stark reminder of how quietly a society can fall into fascism, especially when those with privilege are willing to turn a blind eye to atrocities taking place. Set in 1930s Berlin, the movie explores the rise of the Nazi Party and its impact on the lives of ordinary people, particularly those in the entertainment industry. The story follows the lives of a writer named Brian and a cabaret performer named Sally Bowles, who both become caught up in the political turmoil of the time. One of the key themes of Cabaret is the danger of complacency in the face of fascism. The film portrays a society in which the majority of people are either indifferent or actively
we were just talking about this.
supportive of the Nazi Party. This isn't really shoved in the audience's faces, though, since the real plot revolves around a bisexual love triangle. It has surprise Nazis. like The Sound of Music. This willingness to ignore the Third Reich is especially evident through the character of Max, a wealthy German baron who is happy to take advantage of the opportunities presented by the Nazi regime, even as he turns a blind eye to the horrors being committed by the party. Max's character serves as a reminder that those with privilege often have the luxury of ignoring the suffering of others, as long as it does not directly affect them. The character of Sally Bowles also highlights the dangers of complacency and privilege in the face of fascism. Sally is a talented performer who enjoys the freedoms and opportunities that comes with life in Berlin's bohemian community. However, she is also naive and self-centered, with little interest in politics or the world outside her own narrow sphere. As
Classic white liberal woman.
the Nazis begin to tighten their grip on power, Sally remains oblivious to the danger, choosing instead to focus on her own personal ambitions. It is only when she is directly confronted with the realities of fascism that she begins to understand the gravity of the situation, and instead chooses to turn a blind eye. Another key theme of Cabaret is the role of propaganda in the rise of fascism. The film shows how the Nazi Party used performing arts, specifically singing, to promote its message and win over ordinary people. This is most evident in the character of the MC, the flamboyant and characteristic host of the Kit Kat Club. While the MC initially seems like a harmless figure, he gradually becomes more and more sinister as the story progresses, using his position to spread Nazi propaganda and sow the seeds of hatred and intolerance. Overall, Cabaret serves as a powerful warning about the dangers of fascism and the ease of which a society can fall into it, especially when those with privilege are willing to turn a blind eye to the suffering of others. And one group that is historically brilliant at pretending bad things aren't happening, or only happen to them, is straight people. But before we proceed to tonight's entertainment, please,
Does this look like a normal photo to you? Does this look like a photo that would be taken under fascism or not fascism? Run a poll. Fascist or not fascist? Yeah. Yeah, nothing sussy happening here. Definitely not sus. One of them is definitely not gonna kill the other. Definitely not.
like and subscribe to my channel, and sign up to the Patreon if you're feeling generous. And now, a word from this video's sponsor. The thing is, we grew up hearing Nazis are bad. This wasn't really a shock to any of us. In fact, late-night cartoons and even spoof movies made a punchline at somehow making the villain of the story some random group of Nazis. And Indiana Jones.
Nazis bad? You don't say. What?
It was a for-granted indication that no matter what
Isn't that kind of intolerant of you?
violence this group of villains endured, parents' groups would consider it safe. Because they were Nazis. We knew what the Nazis stood for and stood against. That truth and justice heroically stood against Nazi bigotry and intolerance. Again, something easily made into a punchline. Fruity Hitler also wasn't out of the cultural awareness either. So given that the culture was aware of what made the Nazis bad, how are we watching a certain group of people slip into that cultural mindset of fascistic intolerance all over again? How is it so easy for certain groups of people to blame immigrants, ethnic or religious minorities, queer people, or even women for all the problems in the world, instead of holding their leadership and government institutions accountable? It's not even enough to say this keeps happening, and instead more accurate to say this won't stop happening. Why is it so easy?
Yeah, like when we discovered that women who were held in ICE detention were forcibly sterilized, we just kind of collectively shrugged as a nation. We're just like, yeah, well, you know.
For straight, white, cisgender, usually men, to slip into this kind of militant bigotry, like we see in Cabaret, and like we see beginning to play out today. And in spite of a large chorus of our society claiming that we don't have anything to worry about, nearly everyone who lived through things like the events in Cabaret are pointing out the red flags. It's hard to plot out the dance steps to the organized violent xenophobia, often because it's not usually deliberate. It's a reaction to present events that takes different forms. Sometimes there's financial hardship, other times not. Sometimes there's a new ethnic group entering the state, other times the ethnic group is well established. Sometimes there's a political counter-movement, other times not. Two things seem to be constant in this pattern. The first is that there is a perceived threat to the hegemonistic way of life. The second is that figureheads arise who point out that things were better before, and that they're worse now, because of a specific reason. That reason is almost always a group of people that they don't like. A later stage of this process involves the leadership of this group insisting that to make things go back to what they were, they just need to get rid of the thing that's different. Or rather, the thing they perceive as being different. There's a lot of writing about fascist regimes, how to
Yep. Suddenly all these people are coming out as being queer, but we have to stop that for, some obscure reason.
spot them developing, or spotting patterns in their ideological belief systems. But what it boils down to seems to be a matter of what they perceive, and how they chose to trust their perception over all else. And the easiest way to explain this is with cake. If you don't have any cake, are you going to get upset that you don't have any other cake? Generally not, no. You may get some cravings now and then, but these are spontaneous. Usually you have to be reminded that cake exists to really want it, in which case getting a spontaneous reminder about cake when you have a medical condition that makes your body allergic to carbohydrates kinda sucks. But cake was never an expectation in the first place, so it blows over. However, if someone promises you cake as a reward for, say, a series of rigorous and perhaps deadly scientific experiments, you're going to get really excited about the cake. And even though you did not have the cake before, if the cake was a lie, you're going to feel like the cake was taken away from you. Now, the tricky part about this class of baby fascists is that even though cake was never an option,
The classic fucking carrot. Carrot diggled in front of you. That's all capitalism is. Like, oh, you could be rich. Oh, you could be a million.
they perceive a promise of cake. Cake which they would have never received and never will receive. So they're angry. And while anger can be a potent and necessary motivational tool, if you spend too long being angry, getting what you want isn't going to make you feel better. You just want to have your anger justified. You want permission to be angry. Now, in this analogy, the cake is an applicable symbol. It can be sex, status, money, opportunities, rights, freedom, the ability to harass people without repercussions. Those are things, though. The underlying motivation seems to be a need to be able to have influence over the world, for whatever manifestation it may take. Cake is influence, and privilege is qualified by any kind of social expectation that you will get it. So, as much as you may have felt that you were promised cake but do not have any cake, you feel like there is an injustice. However, if you see that others have cake, you may begin to feel covetous. He covets. You may be very inclined to feel that these people who have cake are a threat to your ability to have cake. A key component of this anger is the fear and outrage of a perceived victimhood, which offers a sense of righteousness when taking steps to righting a perceived wrong. And this is where the metaphor on
You're not jobless because capitalists are greedy and need a certain number of people to be unemployed to maintain the economy of capitalism. No, it's because they, quote, 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 took your jobs. Yeah, that's
unravels, and we can actually start talking about the real thing. Because modern manifestations of fascism organize around a particular kind of propaganda. It begins with two perceptions: that there is not enough cake to go around, and that the reason that you do not have enough cake is because someone else has yours. Both of these premises are false. First,
spoiler, it's the billionaires. They have all the cake.
there is always enough cake to go around. If there isn't, it's due to the actions of an elite class who hoard the cake, and they think they're safe hoarding it because we've let them believe that they're just immune to diabetes. Second, the blame for who has all the cake is deflected from who is actually causing the problem by scapegoating a group of people who have few methods of legal protection. It's the language of privilege that makes it difficult to really understand why it seems so easy for fascism to recruit from the privileged, especially when, within their own propaganda, there is a paradox about privilege itself. On one hand, privilege doesn't exist. They hold up a handful of examples. To the Nazis, it was Jewish bankers. In our culture, dissident, angry white people are directed towards people of color. How can white privilege exist when individual white people have it worse off than Oprah? They cite various scholarship programs or laws designed to afford opportunities for women and people of color, and they hold these up as instances and say, there's no assistance for straight white men, therefore these supposed minorities have privileges we do not have. To them, case closed on racism, sexism, or homophobia. Never mind that these opportunities are in place to offset a society which still to this day favors straight, white, cisgender men. However, on the other side of this paradox is the insistence that having privilege should afford
Way too dank. What is this audio mixing?
those who have it with a greater amount of influence that they seek. What's the point of having privilege if you don't have opportunities to use it? The language of entitlement and expectations are used to establish a sense of what life should be like for this group of people. This often calls back to periods of time in national history where this demographic of people enjoyed a great amount of cultural influence. Privilege does not exist when they need to describe the normative condition of how their lives ought to look. Privilege does not exist when they need to frame their social victimization to justify the fervor around their outrage for not having cake. This is dumb. Like, it's so incredibly dumb that you wonder how people who engage in this kind of discussion can't point it out. How can xenophobic exclusionary movements of totalitarian control over a population resulting in genocide and ethnic cleansing that have shaped human history be rooted in this kind of errant, egregious dumbness? Well, to quote Voltaire, anything too stupid to be said is sung.
Tomorrow belongs to me.
A regularly documented aspect of fascism is the degree to which pageantry is used to normalize it and make a spectacle of it. Somehow it accomplishes both of these things. Spectacle makes it seem fun and inviting, while at the same time a regular performance of fascistic showmanship makes it seem like something that is socially acceptable to participate in. The, well, if everyone's doing it mentality. There's a much more sinister side to this than just offering up some comedic levity. In queer circles, we speak to the importance of—
Yeah, it's like the common sense appeal. Oh, it's just common sense that sex is binary. Like, well, actually not. Have you heard of intersex people? Did you know that chromosomes aren't always exactly XX or exactly XY? Have you checked your chromosomes, bro? Do you even DNA test, bro?
of using representation in media to normalize queer identities. Not everyone is going to grow up knowing the many different kinds of queer people out there. By having these characters and their experiences represented in media, it can establish a sense of familiarity. However, the use of pageantry can be used against minority groups. While the initial spark of injustice seems to be required to rally these groups together, economic problems or what have you, these actual causes begin to matter less than having open permission to be hateful and bigoted without social recourse. In early stages of rallying around hate, certain rhetoric is passed around within the hate group. When it was still in the beer halls, early Nazis targeted Jewish bankers and held them up as an instance of the kind of greed that was keeping pure Germans from their full potential. Whatever that means, because Hitler was Austrian. And sure, there were probably some bankers who were Jewish that were making life rough. But there were also a lot of non-Jewish bankers. And maybe the shitty shared quality was the banker part. Some things never change. However, the rhetoric circulating in these hate groups said that because Jewish bankers were bad, that all Jewish people must have been bad. Enough time spent marinating in this echo chamber the less these qualities actually applied to Jews of a particular profession, and the more it was accepted among the early Nazis and their supporters that these are just self-evident truths for which no explanation or justification was required. The initial rationality behind the hatred was removed. Ongoing persecution required no justification and became a matter of begging the question. They deserve persecution, so they must be bad. They are bad because we know they are. They deserve persecution because they are bad. The transition from spread...
Same thing happening with the protests in France. It's the literal same shit. Always. It's so predictable. So fucking... Dude, I was scrolling Twitter on the France riot hashtag that was trending, and holy shit, holy fucking, the Third Reich is here, dude. It's the Fourth Reich now. It's happening. I think most of the posts from France were actually blocked, so I was seeing a lot of like other European posts. And yeah, it's very fucked up over there. I didn't realize Europe was still as racist or more than America, but yikes. Yikes. I saw a lot of posts saying shit like invite the third world in, become the third world. Just straight up like vile race. And it still hasn't been moderated. The fuck it all. Besides removing French posts. Which I feel like is not helping the situation. Most important free speech news platform, by the way. By the way. Don't forget that. Ugh.
Spreading awareness about a class of perceived undesirables begins with this abandonment of reason. They literally abandon reason for why they should persecute this class.
James, why does this sound this way? Why does it sound like that? Ugh. Audio's doubled and it hurts.
The hallmark here is the comfort with which they begin to justify the ridicule of this group, raising an alarm against some kind of threat to privilege, children, or the moral fiber of society. These are good for calling people to action. There is a threat, some righteous cause to fight for, but that's not enough. You have to make people comfortable with hatred. Hatred can't feel like hatred or people may reject it. Hatred has to feel normal, to be publicly and personally acceptable, which is where comedy comes in.
Good evening, Ahmed. Good evening.
Comedy is an incredibly complex human interaction. It's often considered a cheap thrill by theatrical standards. We consider it an easy form of entertainment when it comes to fart jokes or slapstick. However, comedies that engage audiences on an intellectual level, such as TV shows like Veep or Arrested Development, are often looped in with those base-level entertainments on merits alone. Whether or not it's easy to make someone laugh, and for the fact that some people make it look a lot easier than it is, that should not dismiss the complex neurological process of comedy. As much as we may dismiss comedy as a lesser-than media, there is no specific part of the brain that is specifically responsible for laughter. This results in a range of neurological, psychological, and philosophical debates about why we laugh. However, especially when philosophers are concerned, they all seem to hold a common element of linking laughter to both danger and social connections, even if they disagree on how these elements result in laughing. Suffice to say, laughter seems to be seen as the result of a pleasant reaction or resolution of tension. That's why we laugh after jump scares in horror movies. A joke is seen as a kind of psychological maze, for which the punchline is an escape. The relief to the tension of anticipation results in laughter. This is compounded in societal situations where we crave connection to other people more than we crave a satisfying outcome to the maze. Definitely explains why you may watch some comedians, and from the comfort of your own couch, they seem to be bombing, though the crowd seems to be laughing themselves to death. Also why they add a laugh track to sitcoms, even when nothing is funny. The joint connection itself is a relief and a formative element of a positive memory. This element of social connection can be very beguiling, as often documented by film critics. At movie premieres, it's more than just screening the movie. There's food, drinks, entertainment, mingling. These things foster a good memory before the movie even starts. Many people at movie premieres will remark that the screening itself was fantastic, only to later watch the movie on their own, without the rose-tinted glasses, and realize that it wasn't very good, actually. I'm sure it isn't hard to see how this applies to the spread of bigoted propaganda, and this is one of the most concerning turning points in Cabaret. The host sings a loving ballad about his beloved, regarding the discrimination that this gorilla faces, and how he—
Jesus. What the fuck? Bro. An actual gorilla. I can't.
He doesn't care at all about how she looks or her feral habits. This number is cute and light and very earnest, and the audience naturally laughs because it's so absurd. The film's audience, in contrast to the Cabaret audience in the early 1930s who don't know what's right around the corner for Germany, is tricked into being tickled by this warm comedic number. The shock comes with the final line.
She wouldn't look Jewish at all.
Ooh, big oof indeed. To the in-universe audience, this is just a joke. And people who are offended at the establishment using its platform and production to play into existing stereotypes just need to learn to take a joke. The combination of being lulled into a sense of groupthink through joint participation in a joke, regardless of quality, in conjunction with the familiarizing act of a joke's role in presenting a sense of relief and comfort, it's no surprise that this is yet another tactic in fascistic pipelines. Hook people in with the threat, familiarize them with comedic theatrics, and install a sense of pride through pageantry. The Nazis specifically came at the public through a two-pronged approach. Although he was nothing but a lowly paperhanger, Hitler had a knack for spotting world-class talent and giving them an unbridled platform, changing the course of art history. But on the other hand, for the working class, his cabinet empowered base entertainers. Comedians, thespians, singers, and yes, the proprietors of clubs and cabarets. Which is another unfortunate parallel we see expanding before our very eyes today. It really shouldn't come as a surprise to me that there are a slew of stand-up comedians who are explicitly going out of their way to target trans people. As a culture, we really ought to use it as a litmus test about who, in the profession, actually goes out of their way to make original content. Going after minorities or small communities is a low-hanging fruit. Doesn't take a whole lot of talent to point to something different and say,
boy, you've heard about this thing, and the people that do the thing. It's different, right? Like, really different.
The people that do the thing.
Anyone notice this? It's different, right? It's so different. It's completely outside the accepted norm of established socio-political influence and authority. It's like we live our normal lives. I don't even think about this. But these people, they live like this, you know? They actually do the thing that we accept as different without observing cultural or historical context. And we're just going to assume our way of doing things is the objectively correct way to do things. So we can all just agree that this is different. Racial and/or ethnic slur. Right?
Though these days, comedians don't even bother discussing anti-trans hate in their stand-up.
No,
it's pretty much just a bigoted tirade that the audience howls at because the culture has conditioned them to believe that being told not to hate people is synonymous with oppression. Meanwhile, the stand-up comedians playing into this static snapshot of culture are the same ones claiming that the public holding them accountable for saying hateful things is an infringement on their freedom. Which says a whole lot more than I think they mean to. Because if you have freedom, and you use it to choose hatred, you need to consider that hatred isn't exactly a gateway drug for more freedom. Many stand-up comedians like to talk themselves up as having this philosophically esoteric role to the culture as being the first and last line of defense for freedom of speech, ignoring the flood of reporters and now even elected representatives who are censored and silenced. But without stand-up comedians, society would never be able to push boundaries. The role of stand-up comedy is to make people uncomfortable when a society gets too comfortable with its own status quo, or something along those lines. And then they turn right around and complain that they can't use comedy to target minorities anymore. You know, the people who are pushed outside the fringes of social acceptance. I think in a lot of ways,
It's such a pussy move. Like, oh, I can't attack some of the most vulnerable people. Like, oh, damn. I guess I'm canceled.
Stand-up comedians are jealous of people who belong in these minority groups. And I do hate using the term minorities, but bear with me. They long to exist as these fringe rock stars who push boundaries. Meanwhile, people outside the straight, cis, white hegemony do that just by existing.
You're just jealous because I'm a genuine freak and you have to wear a mask. You might be right.
No, that isn't the last time I'm going to use that clip. Not to disrespect stand-up as an art. Lewis Black, Kathy Griffin, the late great Robin Williams, George Carlin, and now Hannah Gadsby. Funny as hell. And they don't attack people in need of help. They've punched up. The targets of their comedy were either self-directed, individuals or institutions who do have a large amount of influence, or social trends among the hegemony as a whole. Targeting trans people or other minorities accomplishes a process of othering these people by highlighting their differences as different from the norm. The aforementioned comedians, who I feel are worthy of respect, instead often target the institutions that propagate this othering. On top of the great difficulty that it takes to make these acts entertaining, there is a great deal of power that this kind of charisma holds. Crowds of people may be easily swayed by a charismatic figure, and such a figure who seems so comfortable with their subject material that it can be passed to a crowd as common sense. Through framing and context, the masses agree that because this person on a stage is making a joke out of it, that it must be true. And if one thing they say is true, everything they say must come from this self-evident context. What is said doesn't need to be true, but if it is spoken with enough confidence, people will believe that it's true. And the primary component of telling a joke is that it's only funny if you say it with confidence.
There's a mollusk, see, and he walks up to a sea. Well, he doesn't walk up, he swims up. Well, actually, the mollusk isn't moving. He's in one place, and then the sea cucumber.
A famous quote from Bertrand Russell, and I apologize if he's problematic, he's been dead for 50 years, but the quote, which remains exceptionally poignant, goes, "The whole problem with the world is fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, and wiser people are so full of doubt." This harmonizes with Socrates' famous line, "The only thing I know is that I know nothing," or Albert Einstein's, "Common sense is nothing more than a deposit of prejudices laid down in the mind before the age of 18. The more we learn, the more knowledge we realize we do not possess. The more we may be informed that previously held beliefs are false, and the less we may trust new information." But this is the tricky thing about doubt. You have to know what to place it in, and how to do it. Doubt, like any other intelligence, is a skill. How do you know what should be questioned and what should be taken for granted? If you apply this skill wrongly, you may offer up sympathy for the devil.
Money makes all birds go around the birds, go around the birds.
We're entering a period of time where an inordinate amount of narrative effort in fiction is driven by a need to deconstruct someone's rationale for why they're villains. I mean, we really shouldn't need a whole lot of explanation to understand why that's probably a problematic element of society today. In the instance of someone being a total dickwad, an empathetic society would rather support the victim then focus on the perpetrator in question. Granted, our culture has this fixation on victim blaming, as if someone is asking to get burgled if they have their valuables in a jewelry box instead of a safety deposit box. Cut to the, well, what was she wearing argument. Of course, empathizing with victims in a pragmatic way would result in making changes to core elements of society that generate these crimes or aggressions in the first place, and we're allergic to that. There's a mindset that if we interview, analyze, and reason with individuals within fascism, those who even 20 years ago would have been easily considered villains, yet saying that today somehow makes it political, that if we get inside their head, we can figure out what makes them tick. That it's important to understand why they're fascists. What elements of the culture are feeding into this. Which, first, yeah, we've been doing that. But at the same time, I'm not seeing a whole lot of administrative directives aimed at redirecting people away from fascist pipelines. This is what people have been screaming at Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and even YouTube to do for ages. And failing that, with business lords citing freedom of the market or whatever, we looked at our democratic leaders to oppose an indoctrinating political system whose sole purpose is to usurp democracy, and we continually get a big old meh. The ending result of this is an after-school special about bullying. A lot of TV shows had one. The main characters are getting horribly bullied, and they get mad at their bully for bullying them. And so they concoct some revenge scheme, and then they learn that their bully was actually bullied themselves, and then they feel bad and apologize for their revenge, and their bully is never held accountable for being an absolute dick. I'm not outing myself as a brony. My co-writer had a stoner phase and was held at gunpoint to binge a lot of kids' shows. This particular episode is shitty because it sets a precedent for ignoring wrongs against you in lieu of empathizing with the people wronging you. This is formative children's media. Why is it fostering a sense of martyrdom? Sure, friendship and cooperation are great, but when it comes to this friendship vibes only, how much are you supposed to endure before you stand up for yourself? And this is compounded through a collection of modern animated films. DreamWorks' The Bad Guys itself was a movie focusing exclusively on this, with the added twist of the surprise villain, which is now a staple of Disney too, who you could spot the second he was on screen. But still, the primary discussion of that film was, let's talk about why the bad guys are bad. Meanwhile, the only thing I want to talk about is, why are only the main characters furries? Couldn't they throw in an anthro or two in the background? While I thought it was a decent animated movie, the conclusion the film comes to is that people are bad because that's how they're treated their whole lives. Which may or may not be true. But the script does outstandingly little to outline what bad means, when I feel that there, on a societal level, needs to be a much more nuanced understanding of badness. People committing petty crimes are bad because they're locked in a cycle of poverty, and this is how they have been conditioned to think is an acceptable way to make ends meet. While the depiction of carnivores and bad guys establishes this on a visual level, there's little done to explore this nuance, or offer any kind of resolution to the problem. In fact, by the end of the movie, there is no social prerogative for society to change its perspective on visual profiling. The only social development is that the population learns that you can't trust furries, any of them. The audience is meant to take away the real messaging, of course, to not judge a book by its cover. Give the bad guys a chance. But it does very little to establish different treatments for different kinds of badness. The only form of badness it demonstrates is robbery. And even then, the only real difference between the hamster and the wolf is how much we are implored to empathize with their emotional arc. How are we to separate the people who are bad without the opportunities to be good, and people who are just bad? And provided enough emotional context, are we being conditioned to believe that everyone can be good given the opportunity? Are we really meant to take away that there are no villains, only people you haven't made friends with yet? Just negotiate with the fascists and find a suitable compromise between freedom and genocide. Hitler was a sober vegetarian who liked dogs, you know? Yeah. To what badness is owed empathy, and to which kind do we need to be on the lookout for? Maybe if we just give that apparent bad guy or rival a chance, we'll learn that they're not bad, and that we should apologize for not seeing how rough they had it in spite of the complete lack of their ability to communicate their hard shit. It's our fault that we didn't have enough empathy. And this is on top of the aforementioned wolf in sheep's clothing trope that's been established lately, where you don't know who the Disney villain is. That it's Not the seemingly obvious bad guy, but instead, the person you wouldn't have expected, which culminates in this grand encouragement to empathize with those that the public decries as a villain, but constantly be on guard to wait for a moment when the real bad guys show their true colors. All the while, this media does very little to establish a methodology for how to differentiate between either of those, or to point out when someone really is as straightforward as they seem. That person holding up a convenience store is likely in that situation of generational poverty regardless of their decisions. But that person at a rally, threatening violence against trans people, immigrants, people of color, they...
An AI version of Hassan singing Stand By Me. Oh my god. What? Internet, they won't stop. They won't be stopped. Hassan in Destiny! Oh no! No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Pepe Ladi.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll...
Dude, is this Hostanox? Because, like, I don't know, like, Hassan's AI is way too good.
see. No, I won't be afraid. Oh, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. It's the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea. I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear. Just as long as...
Why is the Destiny AI so fucked up? That doesn't really sound like Destiny.
You stand by me, and darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. And darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand now. Stand by.
Destiny's voice sucks. Yeah, I said it, and you're right for saying it. And you're right for saying it. Destiny probably can't sing. That's accurate.
Stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Whoa, stand now. Oh, stand by me. We know.
That was so good. I'm loving all the Hassan AA songs. I want to know how people are making it. Where is it? How do I do it? I need it. I need it in my life.
Have made some choices. Taking people who turn to violence or violent rhetoric and trying to find clues in their past to justify why they would do that inherently seeks to frame them as a victim. What was done onto them to make them feel this way. they are framed as a victim of a larger societal construct, which... Jesus Christ, people!
Fine to feel that these people who have cake are a threat to your ability to have cake. A key component of this anger is the fear and outrage of a perceived victimhood, which offers a sense of righteousness when taking steps to righting a perceived wrong.
The more this kind of focus is placed upon analyzing these fascists as lost boys who society has left behind, the more we reinforce these structures of self-victimization, especially insofar as it validates a fear that society has forgotten about those of privilege, and to what privilege itself is allegedly owed. And at the end of this is the promise that investigating why someone would want to commit to this kind of organized bigotry would offer some technique on how to prevent it. But granted, especially in America, there are two P words: pussy and preventative.
Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet-ass P-word.
So we end up in a cultural state where we have no recourse for how to redirect people out of fascist circles, leading to a collection of trans women fighting back a cumulative nervous breakdown from their efforts of trying to stem the tide of this pipeline without a roadmap. In spite of all this information we have, we still know very little about how to de-radicalize people from these violent spaces. And without the information being used, and there is a lot of information, to develop practical solutions to a literal threat against contemporary democracy, we just have a heap of data about fascist emotions. Party. We have next to no documentation about the success rates of citizens, creators, influencers, and entertainers who are throwing darts in the dark to figure out what's gonna stick. And also next to no public interest in the people who are victims of this hateful, violent rhetoric. Because you'd think that in an empathetic, compassionate society, those are the people whose very lives are an affront to fascism, to whom our interest would be drawn. But no. Let's feed into the privilege of people who feel like their privilege owes them more out of life by making everything about their emotions. Fascists. They're the real victims of fascism. The moral weight of their choices are the real casualties. Which is a romantic notion, if you don't take into account actual fascists in real life, the hordes of SS officers being called to testify at Nuremberg who expressed not a feather of remorse for their actions. And I don't even want to blame all of our leaders and lawmakers for not making efforts to legislate the kind of circumstances that could make a whole population comfortable enough to not feel like their way of life is at risk. Raise wages to match the cost of living, impose rent control to force landlords to price competitively, subsidize essential goods, generate public options for power, water, and
What are you, some type of commie?
communication. Because there are people who are trying to do these things. The problem is, when it comes to a substantial portion of the population,
Anger can be a potent and necessary motivational tool. If you spend too long being angry, getting what you want isn't going to make you feel better. You just want to have your anger justified. You want permission to be angry.
which is how you end up in situations where a population actively resists actions that will make their lives easier. And this can be indoctrinated through any number of methods, usually by saying, this helpful thing is actually part of an organization you hate. You hate the organization, so you hate the thing. Coupled with a strong centrist movement that thinks that life can be beautiful as long as you ignore anything that isn't, well, this is how you get fascists.
We have no troubles here. Here life is beautiful.
And all of this isn't just in reference to the Third Reich or the KKK or their sad little modern imitators. There are a large number of groups in human history who fought from the bottom rung of the ladder to improve their living conditions. From slave revolts over the span of the Roman Empire to several waves of French peasants who, over the course of a century, toppled a disconnected and clueless ruling aristocracy and changed the political landscape of Europe to this day. As much as we look at those battles and say, yes, those are righteous causes, the Third Reich and the KKK also felt their causes were righteous. Which brings us to today, where A significant group of people seem to hold queer people responsible for all the world's problems, and not, the ongoing greed-mongering, crony capitalist, post-colonial, nepotistic, pseudo-democratic oligarchy, which we like to pretend passes for a society that lends power to the people. But let's not blame the people running the show, and instead, let's blame preferred pronouns as the root of all evil. That's it. That's... We, the left-leaning, progressive, and socially minded of us, typically celebrate the downtrodden and underclasses standing up for their own dignities. But it's this language of righteousness that seems to work against us at times. Righteousness is a vague term, and I find more accurately describes a kind of air that someone carries themselves with, rather than an objective sense of doing what is right or just, which explains a lot about our society, actually. But it's the specific word righteous that messes it all up. Because while there may be, through some ethical philosophy, an objective sense of what is truly righteous through any singular definition of the word, in a pragmatic sense, the word really does boil down to perspective. For whom is justice liberation? And for whom is justice regression? In our fights and struggles for the minorities and second-class citizens to be recognized with dignity and respect, the language of our struggle did not go unnoticed. And the privileged, who celebrate heroism and heroic deeds, envy these battles, and they envy our figureheads for representing the values they can only ascribe to their ancestors. They cannot live out these battles in their lifetimes, so they make a show of it. And we've seen this song and dance before. We've heard this music, the lyrics calling out to condemn those who barely have any rights to begin with. These songs, these dances, they're not new. We've seen them play out over and over again on stages all around the world. These people put on a show to tell the world how repressed they are, even though they're in the biggest show in town. But it's also hollow, like a story written by an AI. They plagiarize our struggles and our fights and appropriate it into their pageantry. But our struggles, our victories, our lives will always outlast their theatrics. Because theater is only a story. And every story, eventually, comes to an end.
Well, I feel like that was ominous. Nazis just need to be exterminated, is the gist. In Minecraft, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. We've done this before. We've beaten the Nazis before. We collectively, as the human species, not specifically Americans, it was actually the Russians that beat the Nazis, but we don't talk about that, do we? Okay. Well, I don't even know if I wanted. Would you date a bisexual? I love Khadijah, but it's an hour. And I had a couple other things to get to, so some fun. Like, match the crime to the person.
For attempted murder, we're gonna call Johnny down.
Oh my god.
What makes you think I'm an attempted murderer, that I'm a failure in murdering?
Hello.
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
My name's Shalee. I am a criminal defense attorney. I've been practicing for about 20 years.
My name is Jaquay. I am 40 years young.
Today you're gonna match crime to person.
I get to stereotype people.
Yes. Yeah. Do you have a criminal record?
My teens and my 20s was really wild. All my charges are possession and attempt to distribute charges, man, with narcotics. 3 different charges, man.
Have you ever committed a crime?
Yes, it was a very easy, vanilla crime. I used to smoke weed as a teenager.
I've been convicted of 2 crimes. One was a cannabis offense, and I was 21 years old. Another was I was accused of making a false statement, and we settled it. I know what it's like to sit in the defense chair.
Okay, I'm gonna hand you the list of the crimes. What kind of person comes to mind when you read out each one?
Domestic violence, statistically, males are much more likely to commit that kind of crime.
Oh, attempted murder. Usually when stuff like this happens, it's crimes of passion.
Felony drug possession. In my mind, I'm thinking of an older black guy. I grew up during the crack era, and so in my community, everyone was impacted by drugs.
The next, identity theft, multiple counts. You got to get close to people. To get their information, you got to have a good gift of gab, you got to have a good game. My bias is tells me younger women.
You ready to meet the lion?
Yes, I am ready.
Are you nervous?
Yes.
You look like the painter guy.
Oh, Bob Ross?
Yeah, Bob Ross.
I get that a lot.
What's up with y'all, man?
What's the first charge on your list?
Felony drug possession. Everyone loves drugs. People of all backgrounds, all types of people, and so I don't know how I'm going to approach this, but we'll kind of see how this goes. Why don't you come on over?
I'm gonna pull you out for felony drug possession.
You, sir. Why were you smiling when you walked out?
I was wondering, do I fit the description? I was just trying to figure it out. That's why it was funny to me.
I grew up in the crack epidemic when it was flooded the community. Back then, those who were doing drugs, they looked like you.
I got the clug look.
They say felony drug possession, but he could have just been partying. Well, you look like you like to party, and so you
What
might.
do you mean they looked like you? What do you mean? Wait. What? Yeah, all crack users classically bald, tall, fit.
Might have had something, after the club tonight. You had something in your pocket. You might have got a little too loud. Somebody called the cops.
What drugs do you think I had?
Man, probably some ecstasy.
What drugs have you done?
Alcohol, weed, shrooms, acid, molly, mescaline, peyote.
Those are all the fun ones so far.
Ayahuasca,
Yeah.
heroin,
Okay.
meth,
Now we're getting to that,
cocaine,
yeah.
crack.
I think you committed felony drug possession.
Okay.
It seems like something that you really accepted about your past, and that is something that you're not shy talking about, and you've done a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, I have.
What makes me look like a partier?
Your aura is big. You look like you could go into a room and have some fun.
That's your guess.
Yes.
What's next?
Identity theft, multiple counts. I'm gonna go here.
I think that would be you.
Why do you think I did identity theft?
I think identity theft, multiple counts, would be for someone who is young and may not understand.
No, I think she did drug possession. I think it's the felony drug possession.
Understand just the consequences.
I just am getting a feeling of some tech savviness, being able to jerry rig. I mean, do you know are you familiar with programming or hardware kind of stuff?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's you.
All right. You have to be able to get close to people. You know what I'm saying? You're not physically threatening. You look like you might talk a little good game, be able to get close to, maybe some older, naive people.
Yeah.
And, and get a hold of their things. I'm standing on that.
Reckless endangerment of a stolen vehicle.
Come on over here, buddy.
Patrick, come on down.
Why do you think I have committed reckless endangerment?
I'm either onto something or you've just been profiled in this way too much.
I think you're onto something.
Okay.
You might have went to the meetup at night. You know what I'm saying? I'd have some fun. I mean, you hopped in somebody's car, man. You wanted to turn donuts at the car meetup, and your friend didn't like that. You might have hit something, man. They want the car to be paid for, but the offer was like, you got to press charges.
That's what I was thinking. Identity theft is a white trash thing. Yeah. Exactly. Same. Yeah. Forged checks for drugs. Oh my god. Who's taking fucking checks for drugs?
And this is what happened. But that's what I think.
I don't know why you would steal a car, but you strike me as someone who could be driving high, which is reckless endangerment and under the influence. Also, the earrings kind of, give.
Wait, is this like a stolen car key or?
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a key, yeah. I think we're sticking with the reckless endangerment stolen vehicle.
Okay, thank you very much.
Domestic violence. Let me see. I'm going with a male. You, sir.
Damn. What makes me look like the type of person that would be involved in domestic violence?
All of the TV shows that I watch.
Do I look like somebody that domestic violence?
You look like you don't.
She straight up said, "Yeah, I'm stereotyping you."
You don't take no mess. See? Yeah, she agrees with me.
You look like a male.
I look like a male?
You,
Okay.
a man of color.
When you see me as a person of color, is there a specific race that you might see?
I do.
Okay.
I
What is
see
that?
you as a black male.
Interesting.
Am I right about you're not a black male. You fit the picture you present as what they show of pimps, hustlers on TV,
They, as in who?
on the main media.
So as a defense attorney, do you think that like the way you approach your clients might be through the lens of like what you might see in the media? Do you think that
Ooh.
might be an issue?
Okay, never mind. I don't
Hold
want you
out.
for the domestic violence.
Okay.
I don't think you're the person. I'm
Hold
gonna find
out.
someone else.
Would you describe yourself as emotionally grounded or like has waves?
Oh
I
my
sense a little,
god.
like,
She really said, JK lol, never mind.
you know, a fuse in you that could be lit up.
It depends on who the person is.
Depends on who
Yeah.
who the person is. That wasn't even part of the question. Cool.
I don't discriminate.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna.
I haven't called you yet.
What?
Oh, you come in so innocently. Okay. I don't know your sexual orientation.
I'm gay.
Okay. Have you ever been in an argument with your partner before?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that domestic violence is yours.
Attempted murder? And these are all somebody's charges in here?
Yeah.
All right.
For attempted murder, we're gonna call Johnny down.
What makes you think I'm an attempted murderer? That I'm a failure in murdering?
Do you have like emotional, like violent tendencies?
I'm cool as a cucumber, man.
Cool as
I'm
a
the smoothest guy here. You haven't noticed that?
Oh yeah, now I'm actually second guessing myself. Now I'm feeling into this. I don't think it's him. I've known some murderers, attempted murders, and like I'm gonna send you back because you seem like too friendly of a guy.
Do you know murderers?
I do. Yeah.
Casual.
Unfortunately.
I'm excusing myself.
Can you put the shiesty on for me real quick? I'm trying to get a visual here, man. You know, I'm trying to see. Yeah, you look like a smooth criminal, pimpin'.
Have you ever been betrayed by a partner before?
Every last one of them.
Have they cheated on you?
Yes.
Were you angry?
Yes.
I'm giving you the conviction of attempted murder.
You see how smooth it was? Yeah, there we go. I appreciate that.
My
Attempted
god,
murder for
I
sure.
would have guessed domestic violence before murder. What?
I'm gonna bring Shy down. You seem like someone who could lash out, could have some history of anger.
Yeah, I've thrown tables into walls.
So what sort of thing sets you off?
Everything sets me off. I could have like a friend over and they'll breathe too loud and I'll be like, can you shut up?
Did you hit them? Like,
I've bitten chunks out of people like in fights because survival of the fittest.
Oh my
I'm gonna
god.
give you attempted murder.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jesus.
Okay, what's next on there?
Theft in the second degree, fraud. Okay, we're gonna go with you. You look put together. You look like you have expensive tastes.
Why do you think I committed fraud?
You steal some of your stuff back? You know what I'm saying, girlfriend? You know what I'm saying? You broke into your old girlfriend's house?
Why would it be trumped up to like a fraud charge if I was just stealing my stuff?
Because you probably grabbed some of her stuff that was in there, man, and she was like, oh, he used my ATM card to buy a bottle of liquor or something.
That's not fraudulent though.
Yeah, man. That's what they call it. You see all them charges under fraud when they charge people for that? Yeah, there's all kind of ways that they can get you and stick you in the slammer, man.
Have you ever embellished the truth in order to like get a job? Okay, yeah. Theft in the second degree, fraud.
Okay.
Possession of a stolen firearm, grand theft auto, burglary, and car prowling. Come on up here, brother. Come on up here, brother. Man, and see, I hate to do this to a black man, but I'm trying to think through it because charges is always trumped up.
Have you ever fired a gun before?
Allegedly.
Ooh. Have
Allegedly.
you ever been inside of a stolen vehicle before?
Yeah. Was there an attempted murderer there? Well, he didn't succeed. Or she. They did not succeed. So they probably got like 5 to 10.
I've been inside of a stolen vehicle before.
Have you ever fired a gun?
There's been a lot of places I fired a gun.
Okay, cool. So there's a chance that you had a gun that did not have your name on it.
You know what? You bought a pistol off the home you didn't know it was hot.
Grand Theft Auto. My understanding is it's not just stealing one car, it's like being a part of a system. There's like an element of trust involved.
Like the mob.
Like the mob, exactly. I think that's it.
I'm going with you for possession of stolen firearm, grand theft auto, burglary, and car prowl.
Hate to do this to you, brother, but that's where I'm at.
I mean, they're all crimes, and I'm a brother. So it's not like
Ain't no way. Oh my god.
we can avoid the inevitable in this scenario. So I mean, it's just matching the dots.
I can't wait to
You gotta accuse me of something.
see where they match at.
Show of hands, who did
What? You go to jail for life for that? Attempted murder is 25 to life. Attempted first-degree murder is life in prison? No, it's not. No, it's not. I don't think it is. I think it goes state by state, first of all. I mean, maybe in, like, red states. But it's usually way less than that. They get time off for good behavior and shit.
Jacob guess correctly?
Damn.
I didn't hear nobody who was like, yeah, you blew that, buddy.
1? Not even 2.
Not even 2. Okay, they're gonna come out and talk to you one at a time.
You guessed attempted murder, but no,
I mean, hell, half the time, actual murder in the first degree is only like 20 years max. The life sentence. I mean, that's California, though. I don't know. No, I mean, I've definitely heard of attempted murder cases getting way off. Like, so much earlier than that. Like, so much earlier.
theft in the second degree and fraud. I had a personal check, and I didn't know that on the back of it, it's faint with the person's real information on it. It's like a new security feature. I tried to cash it, and they arrested me.
Okay.
Yeah, how did you get your hands on these things?
There's a whole bunch of websites that you can go to, and I can get any of your guys' social security numbers, birthdays, and steal any of your guys' information right now.
Oh, she need to work for the CIA, boy. Oh my goodness, the government give you a job.
For
There are
real.
2 different charges. The theft in the second degree. I robbed Burger King, my old job.
What'd you steal from Burger King?
$5,000.
$5,000.
Yeah.
Is that just money, no food?
No food.
Okay.
No food.
I mean, while you're in there, you know,
No food.
get a
Well, because
Whopper.
I was the assistant manager there.
Man, they really trusted you.
It was because my I busted my ass there every single day, working from open to close, not
Damn.
seeing my kids, and my manager just kept lying to me and kept lying to me. I just had enough and emptied out the whole safe.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
Damn, I've messed everybody up.
Honestly, I won't say she's right for that, but I will say the workers should own the means of production.
I have a drug possession charge from when I was 18. Worked with somebody who was like family to me. Ended up getting pulled over by like 15, 16 cops in the crime scene investigation van, and I ended up taking the rap for everything. So.
What was it? What was it?
Crack.
Crack?
Yeah. I didn't finish this charge until I was 25 years old.
Wow. So you spent some time.
Yeah.
Why'd it take so long? Yeah.
Just because I kept running on probation.
Oh, gotcha.
I would make
Can't
it
be
like,
doing that,
yeah,
dude.
I would make it like a year, almost a year on probation, and then I had my first son around the time I was 23. When he was born, I was on the run still. It took a lot to be like, I want to finish this part of my life and move forward. So
It's a big hump. Well,
yeah.
good for you, man.
Yeah,
That's
appreciate
awesome.
it, man.
Hell
Thank you.
I had you for the possession of drug, but that's not it.
It was attempted murder. It was a scenario where an individual was supposed to fight my cousin at a gas station. He didn't like how I was turning out, I guess, and the individual decided that he wanted to go get a shotgun and started firing the shotgun.
Premeditation is a big differentiator. Yeah, that's a huge part of it. Like, if you, like, made a whole plan to go murder someone, that's a lot different than, like, this situation.
At the gas station.
At the gas station. And then so I acted by the only way that I knew how. And I fired and shot him. When I went for a trial, they ruled that I was wrong for defending myself and defending him, even though he let off 2 different times. Then I got hit with the spread from some of the gauge, and when he was falling down getting shot, I got the wrong end of the stick. You know, I did 13 and a half years because of it. I sat down, you know, went in front of a judge, and he declared that my sentence was too long, knocked 40 months off. I'm supposed to still be in the joint right now. I'm not generally a violent person.
Sure.
It's just I believe that, you know, in certain times
Yeah.
you protect yourself or you protect your family.
Yeah, see, like, there's a huge, like, variety of crimes that fall under attempted murder. Like, he was literally trying to do self-defense, but it wasn't ruled self-defense because he was racialized as a black man.
Family. If you're in those scenarios, I don't know people who would act differently. I mean, that's what people should have firearms for, is to protect themselves, not to go and be the aggressor and hurt people. Sure. And I've only been home for 5 months.
Wow. Well, welcome home.
Are you a public defender, by the way?
I started off my career in public defense.
It's kind of rough because like some of the things you were saying is like as I see on TV, you're a defense attorney. So
Yeah.
it's supposed to be how you interpret the law.
Yeah, you should fucking know better than that. Fucking law and order ass shit. What?
And how you interpret others to be fair or non-partial when it comes to certain things to defend them.
Mine is domestic violence.
Yeah, what happened?
What didn't happen that night, I went to jail. It was me against my ex-fiance. Things started building up. He's like on drugs. Everything just came out and I just like started.
Just lost and your balloon popped.
Yeah, and so they took his word off of everything. But he doesn't want to further the charges because,
This is still active.
yeah.
Don't say anything else on this. Okay, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
go back. Stop talking about it.
The first good thing she said all fucking show. The whole show. The only acceptable thing that she has said as a public defender. Stop talking.
You said I attempted murder. I did not. Well, that I got caught for.
Gotcha.
I did the reckless endangerment and stolen vehicle. When I was 14, my mom gave me a stolen car and I went on a joyride.
Did you know it was stolen?
Yes.
Okay.
She told me not to get caught.
Gotcha.
I crashed the car and got caught. And I didn't want my baby sister to go in foster care and my mom to go to prison, so I took the slap on the wrist when I was 14.
You are the third person to choose me today for reckless endangerment. Well, I actually had the car prowl, stolen firearm, grand theft auto, burglary.
Gotcha.
I was a whole different person. I was living on the streets, kind of got tired of it, so broke into someone's house, burglary charge, took their keys from their front door, grand theft auto, had the car for a few days, got arrested in a McDonald's drive-thru on Easter Sunday.
You want that egg McMuffin for breakfast, huh?
I was hungry. And then they catch me with the gun.
The worst place to get arrested, dude. Did he even get his Egg McMuffin?
Was it your gun?
Oh no, it was stolen.
How has that impacted you now?
Well, the impact was just basically getting jobs up until the point where I did get a job, but everything's been pretty solid ever since then.
So you said it was a different life. Did that change things for you, that experience, or?
Oh, definitely. Friend groups, there's a lot of people I left behind, like a lot of people that I used to use with. I'm 7 years clean in September.
All right, man. He said y'all had some fun. See, I said it was like a fun night. I kind of had it.
It was a fun few days.
Yeah, right, cool.
I had you. I had you a couple of times.
Yes, so you originally thought domestic violence.
Yep.
Yes, which was incorrect.
And then I thought that you were a black male.
Yes, which is incorrect.
Right.
I'm actually South Asian.
Okay, what was your conviction?
Multiple counts of identity theft.
How much money did you get?
Close to $1 million, probably.
Dog! What?
I went
Damn.
from 0 to 26 felonies in one fell swoop. So it's
Holy shit, dude. 26. 26 felonies, bro.
25 counts of identity theft and then possession of a controlled substance.
What was the controlled substance?
Heroin and meth.
Oh, you was high on this shit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, sure. Yeah, man. Okay.
Basically, my ex and I, right at the height of I had a career in television and media, got hooked on Oxy. Oxy led to heroin and led to smoking heroin and meth, and then ended up basically losing everything. We learned how to print IDs, get profiles of people, use their lines of credit, and just took off for about 1.5 years. And then
Fuck.
me, my ex, and then a friend of ours were arrested on March 28th, 2013.
Okay.
But March 29th, 2013 is my clean and sober date, and I just recently celebrated 10 years of being
Hey, man,
clean and sober.
congratulations,
Thank
man.
you.
Good stuff.
You know, success builds on success.
Good for him. Good for him. He really turned it around.
And I took that energy with me when I got out 5 years ago and just ran with it.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
How was this experience?
Good. It's good to know the
It was
story.
something.
When you walk into a room, how do people see you? And then how do you make certain that you take up space to defy all of those stereotypes? You learn a lot through this process.
I think there's a lot of reasons that people commit crimes. It's certainly not something to judge someone based off of. Everyone's got their own story, and that's just maybe a part of and a piece of.
Yeah, you literally never know what someone did. Like, I don't know. It's like doing a background check for a fucking, like, a McDonald's window position. Like, do we really have to? I don't know. I don't know if that's so important. Yeah. When we're doing mass incarceration, we can't stop hiring everyone who's been incarcerated. Like,
What makes someone who they are at any given point.
All right, good job, everybody.
Lately, I've really started liking stained glass.
I like it. I like this one too. I like this one extra. Because I made it myself. So I'm thinking, let's smash 2 of my favorite things together and make a robot arm out of stained glass.
it's so pointless. So delightful and pointless. I love Simone.
Let's go to the Stained Supply Store. Stained Supply Store. They just sell stains. Yeah. Cute as fuck.
Most shops only check for violent felonies and sex crimes. At least that's how it was when I was younger, working at Subway and Taco Bell. Yeah, it's not like that anymore. It's not like that anymore. My misdemeanors pop up and it's not fun and very bad. And like most companies have like a service to do it now. It's like much easier and faster. So it's just done like automated. Like I never got an interview at Sprouts because of that. Like I applied like 12 times. Last day to be gay. Yeah. No more gay the rest of the year. They'll come and get you. Last 38 minute to be gay. Get it in. Get it in now. Maybe we should do a gay song. What's the gayest song I can think of? All I can think of is like NSYNC. Lance Bass?
I'm losing it. Yeah. Let's go solder.
Oh my god. Damn. Whew. Feels like that should be on a different website. Am I right? Am I right? Sexy soldering time.
We have some parts we can actually put together. So here's the base. Here are some other parts. This is a scary
Thank you for the follow.
moment.
Very funny time to follow, I have to say.
I'm like figuring out how to assemble this robot arm with parts that don't necessarily fit together. Okay, so to mount everything, I decided to change the hardware, but then I had made the holes too small. And I think the solution that I've settled on is that I'll just get back to it on Monday. The more frustrated I am, the more I'm going to be prone to breaking things. And this is
She just like me for real.
It was really a project done best with high blood sugar. We're gonna stop for women now. Happy Friday.
Leave her alone. She's just trying to eat her carrot.
No.
No.
I made these a little bit bigger, and then I didn't realize that it's gonna crash into this. Oh, yetch.
Around this time,
Uh-oh.
I also realized that the base that I had spent days
This is Simone Geertz. She is a delight.
painstakingly crafting was too wide, and I had to cut it apart to make it slimmer, an adjustment that echoes what society pressures us to do to our bodies. This next step I cannot find a bodily equivalent to, but instead, I try to remind myself that a step backwards is still a step, and my fitness tracker will still count it towards my daily goal. And just like that, we were back on track. I had swallowed whole the humility that the project had served me, and I was back to queefing with confidence.
Okay, look at that. Look at those smooth lines. Look at how smooth. How is she so smooth? Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's a river rock. Really, that got your laugh? I just wait.
Let's go. Let's
Okay, I need
fucking
to
go.
Make the claw, and then I'm gonna make
The little robot sounds.
It looks so good. Sorry, I finally looked at it, and then it's gonna have this part here, and it's gonna connect to a claw, and it's.
I love her.
I think we're officially entering.
It's just like beautiful. Like this is just art. She's just making art.
The home stretch. My name is Simone Yatch, and this is my laundry room.
Wait, I've never heard her say her own name before. I guess it's Simone Yates? Yeah. Yes. I have to hear it again. I'm sorry. Hello? Wait, I've gone way too far back.
Okay, look at that. Look at
Oh
those
god.
smooth lines. Look at how smooth. How is she so smooth? Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's a river rock. My name is Simone Yatch, and this is my laundry room.
Yetch.
The home.
Yetch. I would not have guessed that. Wait, where is she from?
Home stretch.
Forget.
My name is Simone Yatch, and this is my laundry room.
Yetch.
I just don't want to take the robot arm to the kitchen sink because it's got lead and chemicals and gross things in it. Oh, you got this spider web on you.
After a long day at work, the robot arm just wants to take a relaxing bath.
I'm gonna let it dry off and then put on the patina. Patina. Should we turn it on? It would
Yes.
be so nice if this
Let's
worked
go.
out
Let's
and it
fucking
didn't
go.
break. I would love it if it didn't break. Okay, we're gonna start with the most inconsequential motor, the base motor. Oi.
I'm unreasonably excited for this.
Servo 4.
Sounds.
Oh, perfect. You guys.
It's happening. Let's go.
The glass didn't crack. It was the solder.
No.
It ran for a little bit. Can we just run that footage over and over again? Okay. Well,
yes.
I'm gonna
Sure.
go home.
You are home.
I'm gonna go 20 feet up the hill. Scraps.
Bathroom and food time. All right.
I love you. Don't ask how it went. I am refreshed and revitalized.
I'm so excited
and
for that to work.
reconsidering every choice I made up until this point. So I'm just gonna take this part out and then I might just glue it to the motor mount because I don't know how to make it nicer on the solder joints. The base is ugly and I want it to be prettier. Look at my socks. If only I could have a pair of socks that had this print so that I could always have this effortless, hardworking look.
She made sawdust socks. So cute.
Let's start with the base. So far, so good. And let's do this one. Wait, my heart is racing so much. Okay, okay. And the last one, this was the
Yo,
one that
chill.
broke last time.
No. No.
They broke in the exact same spot as before. I hate it. No, I don't. I don't hate you.
I feel for her. I really feel for her.
Fuck! I don't want to have to pick it apart again. Can I just cut a video short and say that the video is done? Because I give up? Honestly, that's a pretty revolutionary thought. Thank you so much for watching. That's it. Bye. I'm done.
Wait for effort.
done with this
It's so
robot arm.
close. It's so close. It was a delightful idea, and it's still art. I hope she didn't destroy it.
What if I just... No, don't, Simone. This is what this robot arm does. It tells you that you might be able to fix it, but you can't. This feels like cheating, but also I'm the one who makes up the rules. Could take this apart and just put this piece in. So it has one metal part. Okay, let's do that. And then I give up.
Determined.
You with me? Okay, let's let that cure for 24 hours and then we'll just shoot whatever happens. We're gonna create a little scene with the robot arm. I want it to be like grandma cyberpunk core. Yeah, and then if it breaks, it breaks. Whatever. But I'm feeling pretty good about it, but also I feel pretty good about most things, so like, don't trust my own judgment.
But I feel pretty good about most. Oh my god, I love her.
Yeah?
I really do. Yeah, it's...
What?
Looks really good.
Oh, tight.
It
Okay.
does.
We're gonna try everything out. The stakes are just very high for this arbitrary game that I've decided to play with myself. Oh yeah, okay. We are in action. Okay, now we do this one. Okay.
Let's go.
That's it. Okay, let's do like a proper take. 1, 2, 3.
He's so fucking cute. God damn it.
And then.
Let's go. Let's go.
I think that's it. That went better than I expected. I'm like so burnt from this project. No Rogan glass, no fire. I mean, I got a little bit burnt because I forgot that I lit a candle. But great. Oh my God, I am so happy that I did not give up. Learn from me, kids. When you get your ass handed to you, just give it right back. Are stained glass robot arms a part of the future?
Yeah. When you get your ass handed to you, just throw it right back. Throw that ass back.
No. Are they a part of the past? Also no. I think this is its one and only time to shine, but I'm glad I was here for it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just gonna drink my tea now. Oh, it's hot. That's really hot.
Yeah. There's just tea all over that table, but you know what?
Scripts.
I forgive her.
What are we doing today?
I forgive her. So cute. Delightful human. Well, shit, I guess that's it. 8 more minutes of being gay. That's it. What are your pronouns, cunt? Only 8 more minutes to tell me.
I don't like girls, I don't like boys. I got a they, them baddie that I enjoy. Oi. I'm in love with the they, them. I'm in the club with some they, thems. 10 out of 10 would I rate them. Got their full consent, I don't pay them. They said they're no binary, I said cunt, that's fine with me. You can still inspire me, I won't call you he or she. I don't care what you got downstairs as long as you can lick my feet. I don't care what you got downstairs as long as you can pee on me. Pull up, knock a cunt out if they ever come misgender you. They're just jealous, they can't pull a kick, they them and get it rude. LGBTQI plus I love them also very much. They identify as fluid, so I go and pick them up. On my bros like shit, 3056, they a he or she. I don't give a shit. People coming up to ask me if they a girl or boy. They a girl or boy, yeah, they're somewhere in between.
What are your pronouns, con? 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 What are your pronouns? Before I go down, hit that ass out, hit it from the back and spin around. What are your pronouns? I don't mess around. I got sexy they them baddies in my sex lounge.
I'm on Smith Street with some hot humans. Someone bump that Charlie XCX and go stupid. Someone bumps that lot of powder and they fucking lose it. It's a Western exclusive, but it's still inclusive. Heard you used the wrong pronoun even though you knew it. Heard you used the wrong pronoun and my night's ruined. But I'm with some they them gangsters up in Mount Druitt. Put your hands in the air if you gender fluid. They can't see him, they can't she, her. They can't say them, but I'm it, that. I'm an object, I still skid fat. In the gender neutral bathroom, make that ass clap. They got XX chromosomes, but different expression. Expression break the ones with my genderless affection.
What are your pronouns, con? 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 What are your pronouns? Before I go down, hit that ass out, hit it from the back and spin around. What are your pronouns? I don't mess around. I got sexy they then baddies in my sex lounge.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Frogs, friggin' frogs! I don't like a frogs! Gay, friggin' frogs! Frogs! Friggin' frog crap! Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny! I'm gonna say it real slow for you.
Frogs! I don't have enough, like, gay songs. I've already played them all. It's a shame. I don't know what to do with my last 4 minutes of being gay. I guess this.
Your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. My children aren't going hungry. I'll do it. I'll drink your blood. And I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up? I'm gonna haul him up back chain. Chop his ass up, size it up. I'm gonna haul him up back chain. Chop, 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 chop. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass flat. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, "Oh, I killed a cow out back, baby." You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, it's the last thing I do.
I will eat you.
I'm gonna get my hands around your throat.
You guys, my dad literally just got punched in the face.
Not I'll do it again. I think to close out the night, it's only right that we honor the sluts. Any sluts in chat? Any sluts?
Do you really think I'm hot enough to be a slut? Aw, thanks. Hi, I'm a slut. Do what I want, I don't give a fuck. Post a titty, make a zip nut. Proud bitch, I smile when I suck. Hi, I'm a slut. Do what I want, I don't give a fuck. Doesn't
made it. Holy shit. I did not think I would make it. I did not think. Holy. I'm so tired. I could sleep for another month. Okie dokie. I am tired as fuck. And that was all the content that I had planned. So, guess that's it, folks. Insta, socials are all there in the link tree. So I'll be back in a few days. I'll try to be back as soon as possible. But I do have like a whole lot of editing to do, so I'm gonna be working on that. I do also need like at least one day to just like hang out and cuddle my kitten. They've been missing me. They're so mad. I haven't been around as much, and they're probably gonna eat me alive if I don't cuddle them enough. So I have to. Sorry, it's not my choice. They made me. If I don't come back, send help. The cats ate me. Have a good night. It's awesome you made it. I'm proud of you. Oh, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me the whole month. I know it's been a lot of extra work for you, so I appreciate you being here and stuff. I love you very much. Yeah, so I'll be back in a few days. I'll see you then. Stay tuned on my Twitter and stuff for updates. I've been mad tweeting. I've got the Twitter virus, the Twitter mind virus. So stay updated there. I'll see you in a few days. Hey y'all.
What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. Holy shit, dude. Holy fucking shit, dude. Literally lying. Still lying to his audience. That's my PTOS, what the fuck? Okay. Alright. That was.
You asked for this, sir.
I said, what's your favorite anime?